Is this free analysis? This is not free analysis. Negative.
That's negative.
I didn't lose that
great.
fucking bet. What's up, dude?
Hey man. Hey. I'm fine. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Just
Dude,
going.
I was just wondering if you could start off by giving me some free financial advice. So I want to invest $50 in something, but I'm not sure if I can trust this guy because he says something and then he just pulls out after I'm done paying. So what should I do, really?
I would just make sure you know the context of the situation.
Yeah. So I just want to know in what way I can wiggle out of paying this after. So you need to be really specific. Like, what am I paying for here?
All right. What you're paying for right now is the ability to improve on the 15th of July. This doesn't count for the 16th or the 17th or 18th. It only counts for the 15th. On the 15th.
Okay.
And it's going to be a lot of information that's going to basically be good for a day.
I like it. It's 16th here, so this is perfect.
Okay, there you go.
No, I'm just joking. I'm joking. Okay, dude. So I have 4 games I can choose from. I'm not quite sure which one to take. I have like three favorites if you want.
Yeah, I'm down. Anyone really for me. Whatever you think, honestly, is gonna probably be the. I would say pick the one that represents what you think you struggle with the most.
Yeah. Well, it's really hard actually to choose what I'm struggling most with because I recently came back from 3 weeks of vacation, so I'm rusty as fuck. But
Okay.
I was actually thinking maybe chat could choose because it's one of the games is defending a cannon rush because I actually did very well in this game. It's actually one of my best defenses, so I thought maybe you can go in and really
Let's start with that
break it down and go in depth.
Let's do it.
And just tell me how to improve it. Yeah.
We'll start off with some all-in defense stuff, and then we'll switch into more macro-oriented stuff. So we can start early game, focus heavily on early game, and then we can talk more about later on. Afterwards.
Yeah, great. Because I really think I did my very best in this in this game because my opponent didn't really do a very good job. So I got to relax and just do my thing, which is your thing, really. And it's really nice to have you break that down because I want to improve specifically on the cannon rush defense. So I think that would be great.
All right, sounds good.
But I prepared everything this time, so we can just go into a party and I can host the replay and make you host this time. So I just need to find you somehow.
You're back on Europe, right?
No, I'm in.
You're on
US.
Oh shit. Okay, I gotta log back in. I'm getting back on.
Yeah.
All right, just
I actually have you in my friends list, so I'm ready.
Okay, just send me a message as soon as I get back on then, and we'll hit this thing up.
Sure.
So, what'd you do for vacation, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, I've been on 3 weeks canoe trip fishing
that sounds fun.
in the wilderness in Norway. Yeah, that was really nice. I love doing that. Last year we did 2 weeks and we ramped it up. So this year was 3 weeks. So
nice.
That was really good.
Oh, that was pretty cool. So you're going with just a bunch of buddies?
Yeah, and just 2 of us and the dogs. So I have 2 dogs and he has 1. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, and promote to lobby host.
Yeah, but we're experts at this now. This is fast.
I've learned.
This is fast. Holy shit.
This is what I'm paying for, dude. Well, not today though, but you know.
Yeah, because you're not paying.
No, this is a free.
All All right. Okay, let's see this.
Let's not argue about that again.
All right, we got a. I'm gonna speed it up a little bit because I won't be able to tell what's going on anyways. But yeah, sure. So far your build's fine. Like it's standard. You went 16 hatch, which is good. Okay, now this is when we should really pay attention. Looking at probe movement is a big deal. So you know, right now obviously, I would say it doesn't matter. The biggest thing you want to look for though, exactly at this point in the game, something like that could happen, is if this dude was sending out a second. If you somehow saw a probe coming by your overlord again right now, okay, like there was just a second probe coming out immediately, do not ever let him take your gas. That's just something. That's just like a quick tip right there that is going to either kind of make or break your defense. If you let him take your gas and also have a second probe coming over to cannon rush you, that's terrible. It's fucking really bad for you. So so far that's the only thing I would say if that happened, you know.
Yeah, I'm always watching for that second probe. So.
Okay, good.
Actually, pause it quick. I have one question here. Would you send the overlord slightly more to the north here to intercept the probe in the middle, or would you bother doing that?
Oh no. It's your first overlord.
I meant the overlord.
Yeah, your first overlord should get to his natural as fast as you can. Don't detour it and go looking for other shit, because the reason why getting to his natural is very, very important is because you can tell if he is or is not going to expand, and the second you know that it is or is not an all-in, or like it's either going to be mildly aggressive or very aggressive, and the mildly aggressive cannons don't have anything to do with like stalker pressure or immortal pressure. It's just a couple cannons. But the ones where it has no natural, those are the ones that are like, oh, it's an immortal follow-up that is going to be designed to kill you or something like that. And knowing when to stop making roaches is a big deal versus whatever it could be. All right, and then so now I would say we'll see where this drone goes. Looks like it's going to take a third. That's good. Against someone who goes for a very all-in cannon rush, someone who goes for like gateways and robos, do not go 3 hatchery. Go 2 hatchery. But versus someone who goes just a couple cannons and like pylon and that's it, you can totally go 3 hatchery against that. So the idea is you want to have 3 hatches against a macro cannon rush, and you want to have 2 hatcheries against an all-in cannon rush. You won't ever be able to afford 3 hatcheries that early if it's all-in cannon rush. All right. I also like that you. I'm gonna pause it right here because right now you should cancel your hatchery. But you did bait out 400 resources worth of investment, and a smart Protoss most likely would cancel only 1 cannon because you canceled your natural, but they would leave a cannon. If this guy doesn't cancel it, that would make me think more likely that he's going to maybe actually make a robo or a gate in a second, because there's no reason to have 2 cannons here. We'll see what he does. I'll see what you do actually really fast. Okay, good. So perfect. Right now though, you're getting to that point to where, okay, here's another really big thing, okay? Second probe just arrived. That is also a big sign of an all-in cannon rush. It's not a guarantee. Some Protosses might be like, you know what, I just want to cannon you a little bit, and just in case my first probe dies, I'm gonna send a second one as well. It's rare that Protosses do that, because the thing about it is Protosses will usually only send a second probe out if they plan on making a lot of shit at your base, because they're preparing for the fact that if their first probe dies somehow, they're not just gonna like lose control of the area. They want to have a second probe to back it up and build more. It's just a sign of basically saying, I want to build a lot of shit in your base. So already, if I saw that second probe, I was looking at your build, I would say, don't cancel the second gas now, or like, you know, don't worry about it. Just keep making that gas, because there's a good chance this guy's gonna all-in you now, even before you've seen a gateway or a robo be built. And then your overlord is going to confirm what's happening soon. But yeah, like so far the signs do look like he's going to all-in you. Yeah,
I actually did not see the second probe here because I'm not sure why, but I didn't recognize.
Sure, yeah, you were just yeah, it's okay. You're just doing other shit, like bouncing around your bases and stuff. It's understandable. Yeah. But yeah, if you know it's 2 probes, 100%. It's hold on, let's see what you just did with your drone. Did you do that fancy thing?
Yep, I did.
I'll compliment you on that. Okay, let's see it, dude. Oh, fucking get the camera low. tilt it to the side a little bit. Let's see it, dude.
That's a vibe special.
There you go, dude. Boom. Make that drone or make that probe hit your drone and then put a hatchery in his face. I fucking love it, man. Good job.
I was so satisfied doing that.
Yeah. All right. Big information here. So this guy actually sent 2 probes out to macro cannon rush you, which again is that thing I was saying that's most likely not what it is, but it's what he just did. So as soon as you see, if I were watching you and I was like, oh shit, he's actually expanded, I would say immediately take one of your gases, stop mining out of it.
Oh, okay.
Don't mine out of 2 gases if it's not an all-in cannon rush. So what you want to do now is you'd send one, like we just say your 2 drone gas that's currently on the bottom. One of those drones goes back to mining your main, and one of those drones immediately just rotates to your 3rd base, or which is at your 3rd, but it's your natural. And then you just rally your hatcheries to your natural, because these cannons are too far away from your ramp. If your drones are rallied to the left, they're going to hug the left side of the ramp, and they won't get killed. They just won't die. So I would say, yeah, just start making drones and saturate your 3rd, your natural on your 3rd. What are you going to say?
One question. Yeah, because right now, if you look at my saturation, I have 15 drones on minerals, 2 in one gas and 3 in the other gas.
Yeah.
I think first thing I did was when I saw he didn't cancel his cannons, I immediately made both gases, and I put 2 drones in each.
That's fine.
Yeah, is that? Would you say that's
totally fine?
Way
Yeah,
to respond to that?
Yeah, it's just fine. I would say everything you've done up to this point is correct, but right now you haven't done anything incorrect yet. But now, if you leave drones on that gas, that is now incorrect, because because it's just going to be too much gas, and you don't want to make now. All you want to do is, I would say, the perfect thing to do would be make 3 roaches and stop, and you can easily support 3 roaches, which would then become 3 ravagers off of 1 gas. You would have no problem, and the rest of your money goes into making queens, injecting your bases, making creep tumors, and making drones. And you're going to make a lot of drones. And what those Ravagers can do is they can just literally... you could stand on the high ground above your main. Above your natural, rather. And you could Corrosive Bile the center of those 2 cannons, and you would kill them in 2 rounds of Corrosive Bile. Meanwhile, your Ravagers could also then auto-attack the pylon, and you would kill all 3 of those buildings simultaneously around the same time. And then those Ravagers could then walk across the map, and you could even take another hatchery once you can afford it while making drones at your natural, which would now be your 4th hatch. And you would just then keep him defensive with Ravagers, because if you notice, he has no gate yet. He's got a couple cannons at your base, and a forge and a pylon and a nexus. Which means he has no stalker, he has no adept, he has no sentry, no zealot, no tech beyond that, no immortal, no stargate. So your Ravagers would make him lose so much money if he just walked across the map and every time you made a cannon, you Corrosive Biled it down. And then you could auto attack down his forge out of range of everything else, and auto attack whatever else buildings he walls with, like his gateway or whatever. It would just be really annoying for him. Meanwhile, you're just making drones. And you don't, honestly, if you're not comfortable with multi-prong with the Ravagers like that, you don't even have to do that. You could just make 3 Ravagers just in case he were to send anything at you later. And maybe he's cannoning your 4th base or your 3rd base or what, whatever. Just, it would keep you safe from, and look what he's doing. He's actually continuing to cannon you. This is such a waste of money for him. Yeah. So 3 Ravagers would shut all of this shit down, because some Protosses do shit like this where they're like, I'm gonna, this is really aggressive where he's doing it. But sometimes they'll put cannons on the side of where your 3rd base is, on the, in the fog up here. I don't know if you can see this. Yeah. I'm on everyone's vision now. And he is, actually. I just put everyone's vision, and there you go. He's putting a pylon above your 3rd hatch. Protosses love doing shit like this, so 3 Ravagers is great for defending crap like that.
It was actually when I saw these cannons, I started to relax, because okay, I'm winning this game now. Yeah. Because I already had the roaches in the ways. Yeah,
it's perfect. Another thing too, actually, it's something I kind of skipped over, but it's important. Do you see your Overlord on the right side of your main? That Overlord, it should be your 3rd Overlord, and that is your 3rd Overlord. Your 3rd Overlord should rotate over your hatcheries that are not built yet, but are being built, to see what he's doing. So I love that your natural overlords is coming down now. It's perfectly timed because it should have stayed near the cannons initially until you knew he expanded. Because if he's not expanding, that overlord should spot where he puts his production, like his robo, his gate. You want to have vision on the other side of the cannon rush to spot that shit, which is what an overlord is good at. And then your third overlord, we'll back it up to when you make it.
Yeah.
Which is right now. This third overlord should be immediately being sent to the left instead of the right. And if it was, you would most likely, so right now it would be starting to go left. Most likely, you would get to your third base before the hatchery's done, and you would be able to see cannons are there before wasting 300 minerals, basically. And you could just cancel it and be like, oh, he's cannoning me here again. And if you're somewhat not ready for it, you could just back off. And another great thing about it is if you are ready for it, let's say you also have 3 roaches being built right now, and you're like going around your base to make sure you're being okay. And you like right as one cannon finishes at your third base. So like your hatchery, your third's gonna finish at right around the time it's gonna start getting shot by a cannon. And you're like, oh, I'll just bring my Ravagers over there, and now I'll kill the cannon before my hatchery dies. And now suddenly he just wastes another pylon cannon investment, and you don't even lose the hatchery. So having your third overlord scout for that shit is very important.
He actually fucks this up though, so he finishes the cannons before my hatchery, so I actually am able to cancel it, but that's just luck. I guess,
but yeah, that's I'm glad that you see it that way, because it's certain Protosses will definitely not make that mistake. They'll be like, oh well, I'm just gonna make the cannons when the hatchery is like 50% of the way done, not a third.
Yeah. Actually, I wanted to just really quick explain my thought process by sending the second overlord down. It's because I thought I saw his third probe. I mean his only probe following my drone down to the third hatch. So I because I didn't realize he had one more, so I just sent down the overlord because I was sure the rush was over, you know. So I was sure he was just going to can my other bases. And, that's
I like that you had the idea to do it. I just want to make sure that your second overlord stays above the actual initial proxy until you realize he's expanding and not actually all-inning you.
Yeah.
But that's once you if you know you're not
scout the expander.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you did. You scouted the natural before you moved the overlord. So I have no problem with how you moved your natural overlord. Your natural overlord was great.
Okay. Great.
I'm just saying your third overlord should be your third overlord should definitely be moved to the right direction though.
Yeah, it's nice.
Also, another thing too, when you're now we're talking about like microing kill choices basically.
Yeah, great.
The best way you could be using your army right now would not be actually to kill that pylon, but instead it would be to kill the 2 cannons together.
Yeah.
Because a pylon actually has more HP than a cannon does, so it takes longer to kill with the biles. And on top of that, you could actually have your Ravagers located right now around where your gas is on the top gas. And you could be corrosive biling his cannons, and you could be auto-attacking the new cannons out of range.
Yeah.
And then you could get maximum damage done, where if you kill... The reason why it would be so good is because if you kill those 2 cannons with corrosive bile that are already done, and then auto-attack down the other 2 cannons that are nowhere near being done yet, you would kill simultaneously all 4 cannons, and there would still be a pylon there, but all the cannons would be gone, which would open up the room for you now to not get shot by a cannon, to then kill his pylon on the low ground, which would underpower the final cannon. Or you could corrosive bile the cannon from the high ground and kill that cannon. And then you just rely on your Ravagers auto attacks to kill the pylons. And this particular kind of situation. The only time I would ever say killing a pylon is beneficial for you over the cannon is if underpowering the pylon is going to fuck over a lot of stuff. But it's actually, if you really think about it, in this situation, you're going to take longer to break out of your base if you kill the forward pylon. Because that back cannon's still full health, and it'll be a whole new round of corrosive biles to kill it.
Yeah. When I initiated that command, I didn't see the second cannon. I only saw the first and the pylon. So.
Okay.
But I'm totally agree. Yeah. I totally agree with that. But and the reason I'm not attacking the new cannons at the right side is, to be fair, I'm not very confident in my micro skills. So, and I'm sure if I would start attacking them and do something else for just a little while, they would finish and I would lose a Ravager and it would be worse. So
that understandable. That's fine.
That's just a confidence kind of skill thing. So.
Yeah.
But it's great of you to say it. That's why I'm asking. So.
Yeah. One thing to keep in mind is a cannon's attack range is 7 and a Ravager is 6, but the pylon, if you have a pylon, for instance, if you wanted to kill the pylon in your main base right now, let's pretend the only thing in your main base was the 2 cannons next to the gas and the 1 pylon next to that. You could actually auto attack that pylon if you attack it directly from the left or the top out of range of those cannons. Because a cannon, like the pylon itself, if it's not built overlapping a little bit, if it's built to where like it's like corner to corner or side to side entirely, that pylon represents 2 range.
Yep.
So because it's 2 pixels, so you'd be.
If you go to.
What's up?
If you go to my vision, real quick, you can see that I don't know that the one cannon.
Oh no! I'm not telling you to do that right now. I'm just giving you for instance, to hopefully give you like more confidence against like this kind of shit.
Yeah. Sure. Nice.
So what my point is like if you just always put your dudes on the opposite side, you can always kill the buildings outside of range of a cannon. If there is a building in between your units and the cannon, it could be another cannon being built. It could be a pylon, whatever. If it's 2 pixels and a pylon is 2 by 2 pixels, if it's 2 pixels further away from that unit or from that building to your unit, I'm sure you understand what I mean. I think I'm explaining like shit, but
sure.
You can easily auto tag it and not worry about getting shot at. And then another way you can do it too is you can always just like cast your corrosive if you're not confident doing that as well. If you're just like, you know what, no, ViBE, it's too much. I just want to bile and call it a day, and then go back to macroing or whatever. That's also fine for now. One thing I would recommend you do though is I would recommend when you cast the bile, the second you're done, you just hit H on your Ravagers and you stop. Like you just hit H and that's it, and you come back to him and cross bile again and then H again. So that way, if your opponent does do something to you, like let's say he makes a stalker, or the probe walks forward slightly and then goes, oh shit, back up. Your Ravagers don't just walk forward into the cannons and then shit gets haywire and your Ravagers die.
Yeah, that's actually a good tip, because that's really usually what's happened. To be honest, looking elsewhere, they get aggroed and die. So.
Yeah, so just make that like a habit then, where when you bile, you just always say hold position the second you do something else. All right.
So you actually see, I tried to kill the ghost cannon there.
Yeah. It's because the bile has a delay, and you actually backed up before the biles hit it, and then you didn't see the cannon die.
No. I know.
All right. So just looking at this briefly right now, your biggest problem at this moment in time is that you just don't have enough money, simply put. If we look back, I'm going to go back to that point when I was talking about a second ago. So, speed it up a little bit now. Right now, your Roach Warren's done, right? Your Roach Warren's done. You don't know if you're being cannoned at any other bases yet, which it's whatever. It's not that big of a deal. But the thing you do know is that you're still being cannoned in your main. You can see it. You are going to make roaches, which that's a good call. 3 roaches is great. That's what you made. It's perfect. But look at what happens after you make the roaches. So you're making 2 of them right now, okay? And then the third one is starting right now. Okay, so at 255, you started 3 roaches, which is wonderful. But the big thing, like I was talking about a second ago, is this one gas here. Since you have 2 of them, one of these gases is going to bite you in the ass. So we already talked about it. It's going to really just reduce your mineral income. And the second thing is watch your larva from this point on. Like I'm going to go to the production tab right now, the D for production tab, and I'm going to see how many drones you make at this point. You should be making drones constantly right now. Right now, because a drone is not going to, making drones is not really going to stop you from making Ravagers, because Ravagers are only 25 minerals.
Okay, so if you'd like, I can explain my thought process here, because I actually thought about making drones, but I don't. And the reason for that is because I'm a noob. I don't really know. I don't feel like I have mapped out all the possibilities for Protoss here.
Sure.
So I don't want to spend my larva making drones when I maybe should have made roaches. So my thought is I'll save the energy on the queen and just wait a little bit making drones in case I need more units. But
So-
you're saying with the 3 roaches, I should always start making drones again if I see
There-
the natural?
There are 2 things that tell you you can make 3 Ravagers every time and not have to worry about anything else. One of those things, which is the less important thing, but it's still important, is the second Overlord above his cannon rush showing you he doesn't have a gateway or a robo in the rush. That is one of the first things that goes, oh shit, like this is not actually, it's only buildings, it's not units.
Because the gateway will go down pretty
the
fast,
gateway,
right?
if the guy goes gateway, he's either going to wall his he's either going to wall one of his first cannons in with a gateway, which means he's not going to be building another pylon, or he's going to build a gateway after his first couple cannons are done. That's always, if he's going to gateway rush you, that is always when it's going to happen. The second thing that's going to happen is if he's going to go for a robo, when you scouted his base the first time with your first Overlord, so like you scouted his natural, you would have already seen a gateway done, and you would have seen a core also almost done. Guaranteed. Yeah. If this guy was going to go for robo, and you would not have seen a natural.
Yeah.
But because you saw a natural, that was the second thing I was going to talk about. The first one was not seeing a building in the back of his cannon rush. Seeing the fact that he has a natural is so expensive that it means that his guaranteed there is no gate at all. You cannot make this many cannons and pylons and also make your natural and make a bunch of production and shit. This guarantees that he has no gas. Like he's just making minerals and he's just going ham on the fucking cannons. So even if you can't, let's say now he's got cannons in the high ground and you're like, ah shit, I don't want to make drones now because my drones will die going down to the other base. Sure, like you can't rally your drones down there anymore, but it's even then it's still beneficial to have your drone, like your main, rally to your main and just keep making drones and inject your hatchery, because you could literally kill all of his cannons indefinitely all day with Ravagers. Ravagers get rid of cannons pretty fucking fast, especially when the Protoss stacks them together where like 3 bios can kill 2 cannons at a time.
Yeah, I love that.
So like if you had, let's say by the time you broke out of your main and you killed all the cannons, you have 21 out of 16 drones in your main, and now you just transfer 5 of them off. And you're like, all right, 5 go saturate my natural, and now also your natural by then also has 5 drones built, and you have 5 out of 16, but now you have 10 out of 16 because your drone transfer happens, and you're still making drones. And your let's say your third base was scouted, and you either save it now or you cancel it and move it somewhere else, and you have like a well-timed third still, and stuff like that. You're just falling really far behind on the drones because, like, again, like right now, because he has the natural, that's the biggest thing of all. You should just be like, oh, I'm safe to drone all day. Overlord, drone, Overlord, drone, with like an occasional queen. You'd want to have enough queens to inject your bases, and then maybe like 1 or maybe 2 extra to just start spreading creep as you clear the cannons away.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're just not droning and you're mining way too much gas, so it's fucking you over.
Yeah. Oh look now.
You did drone. Okay, we'll see how much this goes into, right? We'll see how far this goes. I do like that you made drones at that point though. That's really good. It's what you need to be doing.
I tried to make drones at my natural, I think, only, but yeah, and as you can see, I didn't put the rally point on the natural.
Yeah, no, I see it.
That's really bad.
It's like a little thing, but it's definitely gonna start like if you were to realize it now, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But every second that goes by, it goes from being a little thing to now a really big thing. And then also the fact that if we look at your units tab, you're about to hit larva cap again, which means your droning has stopped once again.
Yeah.
So it's painful for you because you have the ability to have the lead right now, but you're kind of losing it because you're getting you're not your larva cap. You're getting distracted from just like dealing with the cannons and like unsure about what's happening, more or less, like you were talking about a second ago. Like you didn't know if you need more units and stuff. Well, like look at resources lost. and then which is right now you're already winning, and you're gonna win a lot more out of this, like pretty fucking fast, because you're gonna kill so many more buildings than his. And then look at the income tab, and you are, on paper, it looks like you're winning, but you're actually not. Because like it says you have more workers than he does, so it's like, oh, I should be winning, but he's actually mining more than you are. And the reason why is because you're mining more gas than you should be right now, and you also have that fuck up where your drones are just chilling. That's your natural, which sucks.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the Protoss is like rallying his probes to his natural. He's just starting to saturate his natural.
Yeah.
All right, looking further. Yeah, the biggest one of all. If you were only to take one thing away from this game, it's 100% the fact that you just need to drone faster after you have your Ravagers, and you would be so much further ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. And be a bit more on top of overlord production, I guess.
Yeah, because like the big thing too is just talking about the gas one more time. Like, look at your bank right now, and I love that you took them off now. But look at your bank, and like you know that you don't need more roaches. So you're not making them, which I'm really happy about. But you just have this massive fucking gas bank that has really hindered your mineral income early on.
Yeah. Yeah, and that could be like an extra hatch. That extra gas.
Yeah, right now you could probably have 3 bases with. Right now you have 34 drones. You could probably have like 50 if you were droning the whole time and injecting and stuff.
Mm-hmm. So this came from here. I'm just droning up 3 bases, keeping a tabs on him with my Ravagers. He's making a Void Ray. If I'm no, it was the Mortal, sure. And then he went into Void Rays.
Yeah. Okay.
So I just made a Hydroden, maxed out, and pushed him. And
sure. The Hydroden's always a safe bet when you play games like this. Just a quick as well, like observation that I just saw here. Whenever you push someone with the Ravagers like this, don't ever Crucible their units. Always go for the buildings, because it's you Crucible is immortal, and it would be great if he stood in it, but he's never gonna stand in it. It's like a perfect world, right?
Yeah, sure.
And then if you do the buildings though, Protoss does not know how committed you are gonna be to this. He doesn't know if he's about to get all in or not. So there's this hesitation where Protoss is gonna be like, do I want to move out there and maybe lose the game, or do I want to stay back here and just like poke him and try to defend my wall? A lot of Protosses will be way more conservative. Protosses who are just like, fucking YOLO push, like it's you have gas, there's nothing stopping you from getting speed. He knows you have gas as well, so yeah, he's gonna be probably a little hesitant to like push out and just shove your units. And if you Crucible his core and also let's say like auto attack the core or something in the front, you could kill it in like maybe 2, maybe 3 rounds of biles. Like it'll die really fast. Just look how much damage you've already done to the core just with auto attacks.
Yeah, and I did it again.
Yeah. So just always keep that in mind.
I've learned that, but I'm apparently not doing what I'm thinking.
It's okay.
Or at least thinking after. Yeah.
It's just like it's not the biggest of deals. Like if I were to say, out of what we've seen so far in this game, if there's like things that are like a scale of like, it's like 10 where it's like the most important thing, and something that's like a lower number, like you not Crucibling the buildings and Crucibling his units when you would aggressively attack them, there would be like a 2. It's like fucking almost pointless. But it's just, if you actually did the attack though that was more aggressive faster with like queens and Ravagers, like how I do it, then it's more like an 8 or a 9, you know, like you need to make sure you maximize that. But that poke was really, really late, so it's kind of irrelevant. Like the guy already has his tech, and he already has everything anyways, so it's not as important.
Target on the way.
Yeah.
On 1.5 base, really nice.
But yeah, like the big one for sure is your economy, your droning, up to this point.
Yeah.
I like your choice though. Hydras again are a super safe choice. I would love to see you at this point in time, maybe even take like a 4th. You don't need to saturate it right away, but I would love to see you make it. And then also I would love to see you just make like 1 Zergling to go sit at his 3rd, or like a changeling or something, you know, just something to chill there, because if you saw him take a faster third than normal, you could saturate that fourth that you would make for macro purposes.
Yeah. Well, my plan here is basically what I told you. I'm taking the fourth now, but just max out 3 bases and yeah, kill him.
So
because I know I'm far ahead in these games.
You are. I would say, like, obviously we can see the replay. You are far ahead, but I think the thing that's kind of misleading is there's no reason why you should be far ahead if this Protoss player was more, was quicker with what he was doing as well. Then the reason why is because your drone count was so fucking delayed this game. So if this Protoss player was more efficient with how he played his follow-up as well, you would have probably had a bigger problem. Like if we go back, for instance. Yeah, I'm gonna do it just for fun.
It's actually really interesting. Yeah.
This time, I just want you to take
I was sure. I didn't even think more about it, really. I was like, yeah, I defend this easily. He spent so much minerals on his pylons and cannons.
100%. He overcommitted, for sure, to his pylons and cannons and shit like that. But look at, just look at his base really fast. Just look at his, like, Nexus and stuff. He's got 140 energy. He has not made a probe for a while. Like, this dude he totally could have been making, like, look at his money too. He's not like sitting at fucking 0,000. He has to build up to make his shit. He could easily have been squeezing probes into here the whole time. Yeah. Like, if he would have, and let's look at it like this too. Look at the gas he made. If he doesn't make that gas, and he doesn't have that probe mining that gas, just like one probe the whole time, he could have been making probes the whole time and also still cannoned you. Like, if we're talking about efficiency of his build, he still could have definitely done that. And his natural, his 100%, his natural could have had like 8 probes already actively mining it, or like 10 probes mining it right when it finished. If he would have just skipped the gas and went for pure minerals, because he cannoned so fucking hard. And then he makes like 4 gases at once while chronoing probes out. Yeah. But he's still not making probes. The only reason why you're far ahead is because this guy is just fucking like look at his natural not making probes. He's now at 180 almost energy of. He's about to be there. And now he's at 180. Still has not made a probe. Now he's finally he's like put like 2 fucking minutes of not making probes. So you should have honestly been behind if this Protoss player was more efficient with actually making workers too.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But yeah. Just keep in mind, you know, like the biggest thing of all is just natural. You make those dronies.
I actually really like that. Like when you contradict me like that, because it's like eye-opening. Like, yeah, I was sure. It's like I didn't even think about it, as I said. I was sure I was ahead, like without looking at his natural at all.
Oh, yeah.
So
well, the reason why I say that is because like you're fighting a macro Protoss, and the way that I do it in my games, which is what you're kind of emulating here a little bit, is I go for 3 hatches against macro. I got 2 hatches against aggression, like we talked about earlier. You went 2 hatches because your third died, or it canceled, but it still did not go down. So you went 2 hatches with delayed droning against a macro Nexus cannon rush, which should mean that you're like just getting fucking super far behind. But the reason that, and the only reason why it would ever make sense that you're ahead in that, if that happened to you, is because the Protoss does not play as economical as you should be either, and he's falling behind for no reason himself, because he's just like, fuck the probes, cannons, yeah.
I'm addicted.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying that actually I should be behind.
Hey, ViBE.
If I played against a better player, even if I kept on up with my droning?
By the way,
give me 1 second. So there's
like in 3 words.
a bot message going off, and I can't hear both of you.
Talk about it later. Glad the lesson is over though, because that would be awkward.
Yeah, Gecko, thank you, man. It's not over, bro, but thank you, dude. Sorry, what were you saying, dude? I couldn't honestly hear you.
No, that's no problem, dude. Gecko can do that. No, I was saying that to clarify, did you mean that even if I was staying on top of my droning this game, I should be behind
No.
against a better player?
No. If you would have been on
Because
top
I'm
of your
too
droning,
basic,
and if you would have saved your third properly, and you would have been
Yeah.
on top of your droning, you would have been ahead against a good player. But you,
but
you
I
had a
didn't save my third.
Yeah,
That's my point.
There was a double negative there. Not only did you
Yeah.
not save your third, you also did not drone. Which
Yeah,
is
yeah,
why
I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which that's the only reason why I said that you should have been behind this game, even though your opponent over invested into
Yeah.
cannons, like you said.
Yeah. That was my question.
Okay.
Because I felt, even though I canceled my third, I felt like just being able to cancel it made me come ahead.
Oh,
in
I see what
long
you're
run.
saying. You're saying if it didn't die, you
Yeah.
canceled it, so you're ahead. That's right?
Yeah, including all of the other things happening in this game. Like I
Okay.
wasn't aware that I'm fucked up my drones this bad.
I would.
So
Okay.
I'll try to ask you again.
Well, this is. Let me say that this might explain it more. Let me say this really fast.
Yeah.
It's not about losing the hatchery or canceling the hatchery. It's about the fact that you're missing the opportunity to have drones mining the mineral line.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so that's my question really. Just being on 2 base when this is all over, making my third means that I'm behind
Yes.
against a better player.
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah,
Perfect.
we agree.
We're on the
We
same
agree.
page, baby. Yeah.
Thanks,
You
thanks.
if you do not, the only way it would ever make it okay if like you had to cancel your third or whatever, and it wasn't active for another 100 seconds or 80 seconds or whatever. The only way that is okay and that's acceptable is if you counterattack him really early, before he has immortals, before he has his tech, and you disrupt his build as well.
Yeah.
If you don't do that and you're on pure defense, that is not okay if you lose your third like that. That is bad for you then. So yeah, if you're gonna be pure defense, yeah, you just have to make sure that third base stays alive. Otherwise, yeah, like we just talked about, you would just be considered behind then.
Yeah. So in this case, when I see the cannons at my third and they are blasting my hatchery, which is still building, you would just let the hatch finish, right, and then run your roaches down.
Yes.
Or, yeah, that's your response to that.
I would. Yeah, I would. So if that was me, yeah, I would 100% break open my main and go to my third immediately, and then come back and finish off what's in my main.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so, moving on, right? Or do you have any other questions about this? Yeah, you're watching my stream? I'm doing two things at once. Okay, yes, that question.
I could hear you doing all that shit,
in
man,
pain
because
right
you're because suddenly you're so
Dude,
distracted. I'm looking over at the stream.
I don't know whose
just
stream you're
seeing
watching, bro,
pain.
but that's not mine.
That's great, man. It's fine though. I'm not paying for this anyway.
Yeah, that's
so.
right. Fuck that shit.
Yeah.
No, but for real, yeah. Is there anything else you're unsure of up to this point?
No. It's fine.
Okay,
It's
okay,
fine.
okay.
Yeah. Thanks.
Okay. Creep spread's looking good. I like it. I like that you're having a really big, you're focusing a lot of attention to it. You're trying to shove it forward. This is great. You're saturated on 3 bases, which is nice. But again, like I said earlier, the big thing is I would love to see if you know he has a third or not. And just seeing this right now, let's say you scouted up and you went, oh look, he's going for a third. 100%. 100% you could squeeze out a round of drones.
Yep.
On your 4th base. And then when you do that as well, you could be like, oh, maybe I'll even take a macro hatch if for whatever reason you needed to do that, if you had a lot of money. Or you could just take one of your Creep Spreader Queens and go start injecting your 4th base as well. That would also work.
Yeah.
Because you have so many active tumors now anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, knowing the 3rd timing is huge. And that'd be really good for you. It would make you feel... right now, for instance, I'm gonna just throw a hypothetical out there. Let's say this dude went for like 1 gate, 1 robo, and then he took a third off of that really fast. And then as soon as he was really greedy, okay? When your Ravagers were walking up to his base, he had already started a third. Because you can see there's a fogged out area at his 3rd base, so you might not have seen it. Let's say it wasn't done yet, but it was started. It was like halfway done when you got there. And then as soon as your Ravagers are gone, he starts actually saturating the 3rd because his natural is and could have been fully saturated at that point. And now his third base is fully saturated, and now he throws down all this fucking production and a fourth base. And let's say he starts his fourth base before you even start yours, because he's just being excessively greedy. When there was an opportunity for you, if he was playing like that, you could have sent what you have right now, these Roaches and Ravagers out, and you could have crushed like one Immortal and like a battery or something at his third base. And you could have just been like, no, fuck that. You don't get to be that greedy. But by playing blind, you don't know if that's happening at all. You're hoping that he plays standard.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I had lacking scouting this game. So.
And the big thing is just in Cannon Rush style games, there's two things that are important. The natural, finding out if there is or isn't one, which you did. You found that out really fast, which is perfect. The second thing that's really important is knowing once the Cannon Rush phase is over and now it transitions to a macro game, try your best to find out when they take a third base. 100%. Because that will tell you if it's a good time to attack him or not, or if it's a good time for you to go drone crazy or not. It'd be a good time to attack him if he's doing it really greedy and you're like, no, that's way too fucking early. You're taking your third at like 4 minutes and you have nothing to defend it but cannons. And then it would be good to be greedy about it if it's like, oh, it's 7 minutes or something and he's got a decent army, but now he's starting a third base. And I'm not really scared of what he has already, but because he's making a third, it means that he's most likely not having like 8 gates right now because he's making a third. It kind of depends on the time of the third. The later the third is, the more likely he might have more production. If it's like a third base at 14 minutes, I'm not going to be like, okay, totally, it's just make drones, baby. Like you're easily going to be maxed by then, right? So yeah, it kind of depends on when he takes it, but when it looks like it's a guy who's going to take a third and he's not just like doing some random shit where he's now just going to all in you, which if he took one like now, like he did, I would say this looks normal for a timing of a third. You could easily squeeze out some drones for your fourth, and you definitely want to do that if your style is going to be mass Hydras.
Yep.
All right, moving on. Moving on. Let's see how you deal with this. I didn't pause it. That's just lag. I don't know if you just lagged, but I just lagged really hard.
Yeah, I did. I was tabbed out and tabbed in again.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Oracles just arrived.
Yeah.
Best case scenario for you with what you have, because your queen's actually tanking first.
Yeah.
But what were you going to say?
I was just going to say, when I saw this, all the mass oracles, I was like, okay, I win this game for sure now.
Sure. Well, okay, I got a question for you now.
now.
What would you do against, like, let's just say this guy, I don't know what happens right here, but let's just say he kills some of your share here and he pulls out. He doesn't really lose his oracles, but he does a little bit of damage to you. How would you react to this from this point? Like, what would you do against oracles?
I think I would just A-move to the other side of the map, because I know he doesn't have any other shit.
Okay.
Well, because... Well, and the reason I know this is because I just assume it, I guess.
Sure. I think it's a fair assumption. If I saw this, I would, if I saw somebody make an Immortal early against my Ravagers, and then I saw them make a Void Ray, which my Queen's just killed, and then now I see a bunch of fucking Oracles in my base, I would think to myself, this guy's just going Sky Toss. So I would agree with you in this, in the thought process of saying, this is probably his entire army. This is like his timing, his follow-up post-Cannon Rush that he wants to do. The Immortal was only because I had Roaches, and he was making that just in case I all-in him. And maybe he was like, okay, I'll defend myself with an Immortal, then I'll go Sky Toss. So I think you're right in how you assessed it, and I think that you're not wrong in the sense that you think that you want to push out and attack him now. But the only thing that's scary about that is if you... I'll see what you do here first in the game. You actually pull your army back and you get rid of a lot of the oracles. And now is when I assume you push out. You also killed some more of the oracles with your queens. That was fucking sexy. Okay.
And I lost one drone.
I just want to say that was sexy. But,
yeah,
okay.
Thanks.
But now.
You're sexy too, man.
Thanks, dude. But now, you are super vulnerable to a counterattack. So I agree. I agree that you should move out like this and you should pressure him now. It's great. But what I would love to see you do is make like 3 spores per base. Just like have like a triangle. Always, whenever you make a triangle of like if I ever tell you at any point in time, make like 3 spores per base against mutas, against Phoenix, against oracles, against whatever, banshees. I always mean it like this, okay? Then I'll probably always say this too, so I don't know why I'm telling you if I ever, but I'm sure I'll explain it again then too. But always do it like this, okay? 2 per mineral line, 1 per other side of hatchery, no matter how the base is set up. Don't give a fuck about the gas.
Okay.
So it'd be like this. If you're looking at the stream right now,
Yeah, sure.
there'd be a spore here on the bottom side of the mineral line. What up?
Yeah, paint. Can see paint. So
Okay, there you go. Perfect.
What you're doing right now. Yeah.
Spore crawler right there.
Yeah.
Spore crawler right here. And then a spore crawler right here. In the center of the other side of the hatchery. So between the other 2 spores on the other side of the hatchery. And then these would in turn also somewhat cover the gas too. But I would never want you to have like, for instance, like two spores around your gases and one on the other side of the hatchery, because now there's a big open side on your mineral line, and it would suck. And your gases are very easy to replace, even if they do die, because it's only a couple of drones, whereas your mineral line is a lot more. But yeah, just make sure there's no open edges where like a unit can sit on the side of your mineral line some way, which is why you put double spore per mineral line. So there's the spore literally will hit any unit that's within range to shoot them. About the only exception to that would be like a Tempest or like a Liberator, something that sieges basically. But yeah, that's great against like all forms of units that like fly in to harass you. And then
So you would leave like 5 Hydras? That's
No.
not.
You can send your whole army across. I would just say right now, while you're moving across, literally triangle that fucking natural, triangle the main, triangle your third, and also your fourth.
Yeah.
And I would say, at the very least, slam out at least 1 round of drones after you do that, because you don't want to put your drone count down to like, let's say like 64, and then be like, oh, it's fine, while I attack. I would say you should definitely make drones while you sit. Well, you can initiate this attack and make drones while making spores, and go up to like 80. And you don't necessarily have to take a fight with this attack. You can test the waters with this attack. Just be like, is he taking a 4th base? Is he being really greedy? Does he have a 3rd base? Is it not defended well enough? He's out of position. Maybe I can fuck him over. If he is really well defended while you're making drones and spores, and you're like, if you think to yourself, if I take this fight, I'm going to lose this fight. Well, don't take that fight then. That's going to be a bad fight. Because you're not making units behind it, you're making drones and shit. So you don't want to open yourself up to a hole to die with. But if you see, oh, it's a fight that's going to be great for you, then obviously take the fight.
Yeah.
We'll see what you do. And also, we'll see what you make. You're making a little bit of drones. You're not making any spores, though. So if these oracles flew right back into your base, you could lose a ton of drones. And if he somehow had enough to defend this back in his base, too. Because, again, if it was a Protoss that macroed better, he totally could have. As we were saying before.
Yeah.
But yeah, if the oracles just flew right back into your natural, and they just wiped out the whole mineral line, flew into your main, wiped out the mineral line, and he just wipes out tons of fucking drones, and then simultaneously defends this attack, you successfully put yourself into an all-in, and you're fucked now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, covering your ass like that would be great. I would just love the spore, because you know his plan is to kill your drones with those oracles, if you're not making him be defensive, and if he doesn't feel the need to be defensive, well, he's going to attack your drones then.
Yeah.
All right.
Nice.
Anything else not make sense, or any questions in any way?
No, not really. It's pretty straightforward game, but
Okay.
just to recap this game, I always like to recap it myself, so you can contradict me because I've missed something or misunderstood something. So you would say in this game, my biggest errors was not starting to drone again and injecting my hatcheries while being cannon when I see his natural, and also, and the second, I didn't save my 3rd base.
Yes.
I just cancel it, and I should have saved it. Yeah.
Yeah. If worst comes to worst, and you have to cancel it, you can. But make sure that drone doesn't die either. Make sure that drone gets out and goes somewhere else. Because if the 3rd gets delayed by, let's say, like 30 seconds, that sucks, but it's recoverable. If it gets delayed by a minute, that sucks even harder, but it's still recoverable. If it gets delayed by like 3 minutes, though, that's kind of not recoverable. Like, if the Protoss is good, you were definitely fucked. Like, you're just going to die.
Yeah. Great.
Oh, he already left the game, so yeah. You just like to kill his base, huh?
Yeah.
That's okay. I approve. Good shit.
Yeah, actually, to be honest, I usually do this in short games just to finish up my macro cycles and
That's not bad,
continue
yeah.
working on my transitions and stuff.
Yeah, that's actually
Because
good.
I want to, yeah. So I always do this if it's a short game, just to practice.
Yeah, I like that because like I do the same thing sometimes where you're like you just have this rhythm you're going into and you're just practicing the rhythm of what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
So, and I was just imagining him trying to sell it, harass me and stuff. So I just made, what you like, spines and spores and stuff.
Yeah.
So I just made a lot of spines everywhere.
Nice.
And by the way, why are you not GM, dude?
I am GM right now on this account.
Nah, I don't believe you.
Look, get out of that game and like I am
saw,
right now.
I saw you earlier.
I'm waiting
earlier
for you
today.
for the next game.
You weren't even GM. Yeah.
Look at this, Sam.
Okay, dude.
I'm GMing everything.
But it's a couple of questions. Would you like to do one more?
Yeah.
Or would you like to play Billions? Or?
No, let's do one more. I want to do another one, man. Hanging out with you is
Okay,
something
but-
I only get to do once in a while, and I don't want to cut this shit short, dude.
That's really nice. But I really have to take one phone call because I have to
What
call
the
the vet
fuck?
because my dog his paw is fucked up, so I need to call the vet.
alright,
They
sure, go
just
for it.
opened.
If you guys
So
have to do,
I'll
you guys
just
have
be
to do.
5 minutes.
Yeah, no worries, man.
Maybe you can attend your chat for once. So,
Okay. I hope everything goes well for you, man. I hope it's nothing too serious.
No, it's not serious. It's
Okay, good.
just a cut in his paw. I need to go to the vet later.
All right, sounds good. All right, I'll see you in a few minutes then.
So I'll be back as soon as I've called. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
No problem, man. All right, guys, we're gonna eat a sandwich and we're gonna chit chat for a little bit, I guess, because I still gotta eat the sandwich. And anyone who's wondering as well, ViBE, you gonna play Billions today? I am gonna play some Billions as soon as I'm done with the replay analysis stuff with MuffinMeistro, which means I'll probably play it in like half an hour, something like that. Probably half an hour, maybe like 40 minutes. Hey, ViBE, is it okay to go 3 times Ravager even when Tosh does only 1 pylon and cannon to deny your second and then expands? I always go 3 Ravager if a Protoss goes for a Nexus because the less investment the Protoss puts into attacking me, the faster my Ravagers get across the map to attack him while he's still making cannons. Because first of all, before I get into this, let me just say, Gecko, I fucking appreciate it, man. Thank you so much again. I hope you're still listening right now. You're a fucking boss, dude. You're always supporting the stream, and I appreciate it a lot, man. That's why I had to just send you a note. You're the fucking best, dude. Hope you're having a good day, man. All right, and now, to explain further the Ravager thing, okay? If the Protoss makes 1 cannon and a pylon, he cannons my or he makes 2 cannons and a pylon. He makes me cancel my natural. I expand around it. He then cancels one of those 2 cannons and lets only 1 cannon and 1 pylon sit there, and then he goes 100% macro mode. I would kill that 1 cannon and 1 pylon really fast. Protoss would make a Nexus and then a gateway, and I guarantee my Ravagers would get to his base once again before he has a core done, before he has Immortals, before he has Stalkers, before he has Stargate units, and I would start harassing the fuck out of his base, and I would slow him down now with aggression rather than defense. That game we just watched was an example of if Zerg defends, he can slow Protoss down because Protoss is overly aggressive. But if the Protoss is not overly aggressive and instead is like very minorly aggressive and goes for defense himself, because now he's like, I'm macroing. Well, I can make him overly defend because if my Ravagers get to his base before his core's done, Zealots are not going to do anything out of 1 gateway at a time, even if they're chrono boosted. It's not going to do shit to Ravagers. Ravagers are just gonna kite and kill the Zealot, and Zealots die over and over, and it's a waste of his money. So what it's gonna do is it's gonna make him, it's gonna force him to make more cannons, which is gonna delay everything for him more and more and more, while I make drones. And I'm just using 3 Ravagers. What else can he do? Is he gonna pull his fucking probes? No, probably not. You know what I mean? The beautiful thing about a Ravager is you can walk across the map with them. And the beautiful thing about knowing where to send your Ravagers at what time is exactly what I was explaining that game with Muffin's Overlord placement. First Overlord scouts the natural of your opponent. Second Overlord scouts the back of the cannon rush. Third Overlord follows the drones that expand. Or Third Overlord can also replace Second Overlord, and Second Overlord can follow the drones that expand if the drones expand, like, you know, up that direction on some maps.
Hey, back.
Welcome back.
Hey, man.
Nope. I just said something actually that I didn't tell you in the game, but is actually important.
Oh. Yeah. Do I have to pay for that? Or?
No. It's free.
Because we're after the replay now?
It's free. And also, just so you know, I know you're trolling and I'm trolling a lot, but if you actually didn't pay for this replay analysis, I'd probably ban you from the stream.
Well, do you realize that Jabba guy already paid for this?
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did.
No. No, dude. Honestly, if you didn't even pay, I wouldn't even care.
Yeah, I know.
I know. Let's go one more.
But what's the tip?
Oh, stop up. Oh yeah.
Well, stop fucking eating, you monster.
I forgot.
Fucking A.
I'm hungry, dude. I'm American. I forgot.
No, it's fine. I've been eating through your replay analysis, dude. Pizza leftovers, so I'm American too.
What I was gonna tell you was when I told you to have your third Overlord follow the probe, or follow your drone to avoid cannons being built at new hatcheries, you could also rip your second Overlord off the cannon rush faster, and have your third Overlord replace it and go around the cannon rush and see if he's building like a gateway or a robo.
Oh, yeah.
Like if he doesn't build it early, it's probably not going to happen. And also, if you see a natural at his natural, like right when your Overlord gets there, you're like, oh, Nexus is already there. You can already rule out the fact that you're being cannoned at all. So both Overlords, second and third, can go scout for probes cannon rushing your hatcheries if they're like different directions.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So you would really prioritize scouting the third. That's what I get.
You really just want to, like a lot of pros like to do that, and you just want to know if the cannons are being built there earlier than later, because if they're being built there earlier, you should know that your goal now is to be the least path of resistance out of your base to then get there to defend your third. Because your main's not gonna, it doesn't matter if like 4 cannons sit in your main or some shit, if they're not in range to kill anything. If you just gotta kill 1 of them to get out, or 2 of them to get out, you do that and you get out. You don't kill all 4 and then get out, because by the time you kill all 4, your third might be dead. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep.
That's all I wanted to tell you. It was free.
Yeah, nice.
All right, host the next stream and I'll
Thanks a lot, dude. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, so I have 3 more replays. I think chat should decide which one to use. Chat, you can type 1 if you want to see Ling Bane Corruptor versus Marine Widowmine Medivac. You can type 2 if you want an epic long game Roach Ling Corruptor Broodlord versus Immortal Chargelot Stalker. Or 3 if you want defending Mass Adept Multiprong. And I just got to say the long game is like almost 40 minutes.
Oh shit.
So that's a 2-hour vibe.
Yeah.
You can of course say no or just fast forward a little bit.
It's all good. I'm gonna take 2 hours.
Yeah, nice.
Okay, that's 3 1s and 2 2s. 4 1s. 3 2s. I feel refreshed.
Looks like it's a 1.
Which one was 1 again?
It's Lingua Corruptor versus Marine with a Mine Medivac.
Oh, you want to do a ZvT?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm down.
If you might remember our last couple of sessions before I took vacation was CVTs, because my CVPs has gotten really, really good actually after, or not really, really good, but it's a lot better.
That's really good to hear that.
Yeah.
You beasted, dude.
They were really terrible though after the first couple of coaching sessions because I had too much to think about. And,
yeah, for sure.
And, yeah, if you remember that comment you made about
I already know what you're gonna say.
Yeah.
It's about how
pacing
people
in the game.
Yeah.
So nice. Like that's
because I remember
I've been
you were
really
like, wow,
feeling
no one's
that.
explained it like that before.
Yeah. That's true. And that's really, I really felt that in all 3 matchups. It's and it's actually made my scouting a lot better because now I just have this feeling. It's really good.
That's good. It makes me really happy to hear it because it's
I
hard.
know.
It's honestly, no, for real. It's like really hard to have someone tell you something
Did
and
you
then
see
just
that?
immediately. What? You split your drones?
Yeah.
Oh, let's see it again.
Really poorly, but I did.
God damn! Yeah, you got 2 off. That's getting 2, by the way, is perfect. If you can get 2 on both far patches each, that's perfect.
Yeah. I usually never do that.
That's okay. Well, you're working on it. But no, it's really hard to not from the guy coaching, but from your perspective, the guy who's getting getting stuff told to him, to have somebody tell you something, and then just be like, oh yeah, I'll just do that perfectly the way you said it, and then it just works. You're always gonna be like, oh fuck, like it's not going like the right way it's supposed to, and now I gotta think about what he said. Am I doing this right? You start questioning what's going on, and then you're like, okay, well, eventually it starts like clicking and making sense, but it usually takes time. So whenever that does happen, sometimes it takes really long for people, and sometimes it happens faster for others. But it doesn't matter when it happens. When it does happen, is when it feels really good. So that's awesome that your things are clicking.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right, let's see this. You got a nice 17, 18, 17 coming out. Pretty good.
Yeah, I always do this for certain. Yeah.
I
Try to
like
keep
it.
the opening simple for me.
Yeah, no, it's a very solid, well-rounded opener. The only thing that's going wrong for you right now
Whoa.
is look at your mineral line really fast.
Yeah, I see it. Well, I was actually going to comment this when you were talking that, oh, look, I'm really stacking my Jones perfectly this game. And then they started to fuck up when the last comment. So I shut my mouth.
That's all good. Like, yeah, it's pretty good. You're just missing 1 patch, or 2 patches, essentially, because if one's fucked up, then so's the other. But it's kind of minor because they're both far patches, so it's not as impactful.
Yeah. I've really improved on this, so I'm always stacking the closest patches first, so they are always perfect.
Yeah.
So I've actually improved a lot on that, and
that's
I
really
actually feel like that's really improved my openings against Protoss as well, because I always get the hatch down at 16.
No, 100%. Yeah, no, it seriously does.
Yeah.
It gives you that money when you need it faster, and it changes timings of the game, which changes the whole game.
Yeah.
So I love to hear that. I love that you believe that. A lot of people don't realize how important that shit is.
Yeah. I've seen the effect, so I'm not religious, but when I see something in real life actually working, I can believe. Yeah.
All right. One thing, I'm going to throw this out there really fast. Really quick. Right now is when I would say it. You scouted his natural. You scouted the fact that he has a SCV built-in command center, whatever. It's nice and dandy. You also scouted a reactor that is almost done. It's like halfway, pretty much. And you also scouted 2 Marines. So Sorry. The one thing that I would say, out of seeing all of this, is this reactor timing is very standard. This hatchery, or not hatchery, this command center timing is very standard. This is barracks into supply depot, barracks into command center. But the thing that is awkward is 2 Marines. If I were to see that, if I were you, I would immediately know, oh, okay, this guy doesn't have a Reaper.
No Reaper.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
okay,
no
you know. So, yeah, no Reaper.
Yeah,
And
I realized just after making my Zerglings here.
okay. Well, it's not even just. I honestly don't mind that you made the Zerglings. That's actually still fine because now you can use these to be annoying in some way. You can maybe poke around. Maybe you go kill a mule for free or something like that. But just knowing there's no Reaper is great. The big thing I would say for you that needs to be a bit faster now is I would say do not make Queens 3 and 4 first now. Instead, expand.
Oh.
You should expand right away. Because the biggest reason why your expansion gets delayed is because of the Reaper. The Reaper is just like fucking annoying in front of your natural, like, yeah, kill the drone if it comes out. But now you can't do that. So now it's just like taking a third base for free because this guy has no scouting. And also this would be the time when if you get more comfortable with Zerg and you have a lot of builds under your belt, this would 100% be the time when you would all in them. Because this guy is playing a defensive scoutless macro game. So he'll have no fucking idea what is happening. And there's a lot of all-ins that would kill Terran if he doesn't build the right shit.
Nice.
Birth successful.
I have only one matchup where I do this. It's if I see a Protoss with pylon in his wall, I always go Baneling Bust and kill
Sure.
him.
Yeah, that's another tell, right?
Yeah.
That he's just gonna be like vulnerable.
Yeah.
But yeah, the biggest thing is I would love to see you take a third really fast now, instead of making the queens, because the queens are nice. I still would like you to make them, but and you're still taking a third relatively early. I just think your third's probably late by about 30 seconds, and your queens are a little early. When if they were backwards, it would be better.
Yeah, I see. I always do the double queen just to prepare for a Hellion help out thing. So
Sure, yeah.
yeah,
It's still
that's just
good.
my rhythm.
It-
Yeah.
If like, again, in the scale of like 1 to 10, 10 being like the most important shit ever, what I'm telling you right now is like a 3. It's still not the biggest deal because you still are taking a third at a decent time. It's just you're playing safer than you need to.
Yeah, but it's a very good tip.
Yeah.
I'll definitely try to remember it. So.
Yeah, I feel like it's something that's going to start applying to you more.
Yeah, I feel like those kind of tips, it's not really about remembering if I see 2 Marines. It's more like if you see this, you can deduce that you can do this.
It's just knowing how to read a player.
Yeah.
It helps
so
a lot.
It's more
just knowing
about
that
like
shit.
the philosophy or...
Yeah. I like your mindset, Muffin.
Think-
You have a good mindset, dude.
Yeah. I think actually this game, if I don't remember correctly, I actually walled myself in here. No, I didn't. Okay.
Oh, I thought you were gonna build like another Evo.
No.
I make this wall all the time, so I knew that was opening.
Yeah. No, because I did one other game where I misplaced something and I walled in, and I suddenly realized I had 15 drones just chilling at the bottom of my natural.
Yeah.
Because they were trying to transfer to the third.
Shit. Yeah, that would suck.
Yeah.
You're just
Look
like, I can kill my Evo now, yeah. With
Yeah.
drones.
Very nice.
All right.
Very nice.
So pausing it really fast. I'm gonna compliment you right now, okay?
Oh.
Because I tell you to do this all the time, and you're doing it. You have Lings spread around his thirds. That's fucking super nice. I'd love to see that. And I also was about to say, I like that you have 2 Lings, like one's kind of staggered in front of the other, scouting the front of his move outs if he were to push out of his base. But I was about to say, I would love it if you would just move your Ling in though to see what he has. And you did, and you saw, oh, he's got a bunker. And that bunker, I think you could have seen it maybe a little bit earlier, but you still saw it eventually. But that would tell me I would be able to get away with more. I can make like, a safety amount of units, like just like you always would, especially since you saw you went for a potential of a reactor Tellian opener. But I would love to see you drone your third instead of like make mass units right now. That's what I would love to see. And that bunker reinforces that feeling.
That's my thought process usually as well. Also, seeing that I You can correct me if I'm wrong with
Sure.
this because I saw four Marines, I think, or maybe a
You saw four.
yeah. So I was thinking, okay, this should be bio then, but
Not,
it's
that's not
not
always true.
certain at all.
Yeah,
No,
he might have
no.
just finished that reactor on his. He could have just finished the barracks on the reactor and then just made 2 more and then lifted it off and then
Yeah.
goes pure mech.
Yeah.
The only thing that really confirms that it's going to be bio is as soon as you see him commit to tech lab upgrades on the barracks, like Stimpack or Combat Shield, especially Stimpack. But the thing is that when I say that, especially Stimpack, that applies to now. But if they actually do the Stimpack buff they're talking about, that might not apply as much. You might see Terrans doing Stimpack mixed with mech builds a lot more because it's a faster upgrade, so it's not as it's not as like a one pathway you're kind of stuck on, you know. But anyways, that's for later games. So you'll probably figure that out. The whole mess of problems for that after the patch, if that ever happens.
Yeah.
But anyways,
there's a second set of changes they're trying out, right?
yeah,
It's
they're
coming?
gonna do another set. Honestly, starting like any day now, because they said for the second
Yeah.
set of the month they were gonna do it.
Yeah.
But you're yeah. You see the Hellions now. I was gonna say I'm a little concerned about the melee and the Carapace with the Bailey Nest only if it was mech. One I don't mind that you open with it, but yeah, I don't know, it's fine. You can totally open, like, as long as you're making queens, which you are. You're making a decent amount of queens. You have 3 already that could be active near your natural because you have a 3rd natural and rotating queen. And then you also have 2 more coming out, so which means you'll have 5 soon that are down near the bottom. Your main queen kind of doesn't count because it's so far away. But if this guy were to like hellbat you or something, or like try to just like drive into your base, I feel like you have enough units to deal with it decently. I wouldn't say crush it, but you could, as long as you get a decent micro, you could deal with it.
I think he's actually hellbatting me.
It looks, well, yeah, it looks like hellbats because it has medevacs. The only reason why there'd be medevacs is with hellbats.
Yeah. But yeah, so pause it real quick. The reason I'm doing the melee and the carapace is because I assumed he was going to go bio, because I saw the bunker and the marines. I think actually I thought I saw more marines than 4. I think that's why I chose to do that. But I have obviously not confirmed it in any way. So
Yeah.
so if I didn't think it was going to be bio, I wouldn't do the carapace.
If I were to change anything about your build, I don't mind. I get what you're saying, and I don't mind that you went for like opening up with melee carapace is not the worst thing in the world with a tech building and stuff like that. I would say it would be a problem if you were going melee carapace before speed or before tech at all. That would be kind of scary. But I think the biggest mistake of your build right now is you made a Roach Warren. That Roach Warren should have been a Bane Nest because you would have had it way earlier. And if you're not going to make Roaches to defend a potential push like this, and you're going to make Ling Bane instead, Ling Bane can totally deal with it, but you have no ability to make Banes right now because your Bane Nest still isn't even done. And at this point,
okay, so
go ahead.
Yeah. So I didn't expect the Hellions at all. Like, I should have because I saw the reactor and the factory.
Yep.
So I really should have, but I wasn't thinking. I guess so. Usually when I see the Hellions, I always make like 6 to 8 roaches and pull my queens and start droning again.
Sure, that also works. If you do that though, it's oh yeah, if you actually did that, I wouldn't have any problem with your build.
Yeah.
Like I don't.
That's usually what I do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
I think it's not gonna go the greatest for you. I think you're gonna take a lot of damage here. We'll see how this guy micros it as well, I guess. He doesn't have stim pack at least. He only has combat shield, or he doesn't have that either. He's gonna have it soon.
Yeah. Well, he fucks up.
I can see he's this guy is definitely not capitalizing on.
No.
So the thing you're doing is you're being patient and you're making Ling Bane, and I agree. This is what you have to do. But this shouldn't have happened at all because you should have already had a Bane Nest done if you're going to open up Ling Bane in this way. If you were going to open up with Roaches against like Hellions, that's also fine, but your Roaches would have already been out and you would have had them as you went up the ramp.
Yeah.
But with all things that have happened, with making the best out of a shitty situation, I think you made the right call. I think the only thing you did that was wrong is I think that you didn't rotate your natural drones to your main early enough, because now they will die if he attacks them. And also I think the Terran fucked up because he didn't at all prioritize your drones. He's prioritizing your Evo chambers, which is buying you time to kill his army before your drones die. So he fucked up, and I think the only thing you messed up on is you also put your drones in harm's way, but it seems like it might not even matter.
I think I'm just running them soon.
He's actually just chasing your queens. This guy is totally fucking this up really bad. He's not at all prioritizing anything. Yeah, you won this fight because the Terran honestly didn't know what he was doing.
Yeah.
And then finally he goes for your drones when his army's dead, basically.
Yeah.
You still ran the drones, which is good, but if you would have, if this Terran would have been more, would have just had more priority to kill your workers. That was actually not bad. You only lost like 3 drones or something there.
That was lucky.
But if that dude just kind of because your door was open, right? If he would have just walked in, or even loaded his medevacs up again and boosted your emitter line and redropped the Hellbats to make it just go faster, your drones would have all died. And then you would have, even if you kill that attack still like you did, but all your drones at your natural die, suddenly the game is like, you have only like 22 drones or something like that, or 23 drones and Terrans at 30 SCVs, and you're just so far behind. But yeah, that's the whole like running your drones thing. That's what you should have done to deal with it. But like once it got bad, but it was already bad because of the other reasons we talked about, which is not being prepared properly. So that's the bigger one. The preparations, proper preparations. You have any? So while this game is going to the next stage, any questions about that at all?
No, only when you saw the Hellions run by my lanes, like, how do I ping? Right here? Oh shit.
I'll just back it up.
My game. Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Are you talking about like?
Game stopped responding.
It's probably because I'm backing up the timer.
Yeah. So
it was before the Hellbat timing, right?
Here,
Like right here.
Yeah, here.
Yeah.
I think I noticed the attack alert from the Hellions here. Yeah. So would you just make roaches right here?
Right
pull
now,
your
I would make roaches.
queens,
Yep.
Yeah, and just pull your queens on top of the ramp and.
I wouldn't have pulled them on top of the
That's
ramp
it?
necessarily. Or you know what, I would have, because there's nothing in these medevacs right now, and like it doesn't look like he's actually doing a good job concealing his build. You don't know that you're about to fight fucking 12 Marines with this as well.
No.
It looks like he's just gonna show up at your base and he's gonna Hellbat mode this shit, and maybe there might be something in the medevacs, but it might even just be more Hellbats. He might have gone double factory reactors. You don't know. But yeah.
How many roaches would you make?
Probably 6 to 8.
8. Yeah. Okay.
Because this is actually a large amount of Hellions.
Yeah.
Like if you have to always like if you 100% knew it was only Hellions, okay? Like let's just delete these medevacs from the equation. I could make 5 and I'd be very comfortable with that. But because there's medevacs here and because you don't know if there is or is not anything inside of them, the scariest thing of all would be concussive shell marauders. There could be there could be up to 8 marauders in these medevacs, because each medevac can hold 4. And the concussive shell marauders will fucking obliterate roaches with Hellbats if you don't have enough.
Yeah. But I wouldn't have time to make that at this timing though. With the
8 for sure. 8. There's no way. But he could definitely have like 4 in his medevacs right now.
Yeah.
When he rotated that medevac off and he just started making, when he rotated the barracks in the factory, he could have made, at the time he made 7 Hellions, he could have easily made 4 Marauders. Because they have about the same build time. And and then in the time he makes 4 Marauders, he could also upgrade to Concussive Shell.
Yep.
So that could be a thing. That could have happened. But yeah, I would say
I feel like I basically just held down the wrong key
Sure.
to produce units for
Yeah.
defending this. So
yeah,
I'm
I
not
agree.
saying that I missed my key, but I like panicked maybe a little
No,
bit.
no, no.
And made the wrong
Yeah, I know what you're
unit.
saying.
That's my.
I think what you made would have been correct if, again, your Roachhorn was a Bane Nest and you were planning on going Ling Bane no matter what. Because Ling Bane can also defend this if you have Banes already. And like right now, instead of making Roaches, it would be you're making Banes as soon as your scout goes, oh shit, we're getting attacked. Timing. Then you make Banes instead of the Roach. So, and it would be about 8 either way. I would say like 8 Roaches would be great here, or like 8 Banes on the opposite. Would be great. And then you just rip your queens off of all your hatcheries except your main, unless you're desperate and you're like, oh fuck, my queen count's low. Then maybe rip it off the main too. But try your best if you're close to get one more inject off before you rip it off. And if you look, you actually have an inject ready to go on your main pretty much. So if I were you right now, I'd probably inject my main and rip it off just to be extra safe, because you only would have like 3 queens defending otherwise. Like right now. But yeah.
I didn't inject, but
It's okay. It does make a difference, but it's just do it next time, or keep that in mind for the future.
Sure. I usually try to do that, like go around all my hatches and inject it and put them in a control group, and then when I'm finished with everything, I move command them.
Yeah.
That's usually my drill or whatever.
Okay.
Like how I do it.
Yeah. Makes
That
sense.
might be inefficient.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
So now you notice your scouting at his 3rd base died. Your 4th is still there, but this would be the time.
I ran
did you?
my 3rd base. Yeah.
you-
Into just to see
Wait.
if
gotta
I
watch
could
it.
see any more units.
Enemy assaulting drones.
Because I want to see what he's making. So I'm
Mineral
not
field
investing too
exhausted.
much into wrong tech.
Okay. So yeah, you right there. I would say you just confirm. I don't think that's bad, but I do think, like, I love that you scout the front. That is so fucking much information you should be always getting. But I do think you should now replace that Ling that just left.
Yeah, I think I will.
Okay. Because right now you did just confirm he's going bio. You see more bio being made behind that timing, and it's not like you didn't just get killed by like Cyclones and Hellions or a bunch of tanks, or like a tank Hellion or a Thor. You got killed by just Marines. So you confirmed it, and I think if you were to like rebuild the Evo chambers and go into Ling Bane like speed like you're getting, that would be great. I think droning right now would be great because you already have plenty of units to defend yourself.
I'm supply boats.
I honestly, dude, look at this. I'm gonna show you something. I think right here. So, excuse me. You took a great fight right here, right now. This was amazing for you. The Banes connected the way you wanted them to. But watch your production tab as soon as you stop it. Because right now, there's not much left. You have more than enough queens, I would say, to kill what's left. You have these like really softened up medevacs with also some squishy hellbats, which might get healed back to full. But like 4 queens or something could easily kill, or even 3 queens could kill 4 hellbats. No problem, especially if you even have a transfuse, which you do. I would say the best thing you do right now would be make queens and make drones. 1 round of drones, because you did just lose a little bit of timing. Like, you lost a little bit of drones. Not you're going to lose a little bit of drones, but the big thing you lost is a little bit of time to make drones, because you just had to make an army. And the big thing as well is your opponent lost his aggression. He just moved out with an entire attack and they all died. And you don't see a parade push with your overlord that's in the middle of the map, or your creep that's in the middle of the map. You don't see like 2 Hellions at a time rallying back behind it, or like 1 Marine rallying behind it. You don't see any rally. And even if there was, even if you make drones right now and you're like, oh shit, he's actually rallying like 2 fucking Hellions over again. If you just kept making queens, and then like, you know, from now on, or you were making them during the fight, and then after you made a round of drones, you then went back to making lings, you would still hold, because you killed the brunt of his attack. And now what's left, if he was to parade you off of the production he built this shit out of, it would be so staggered out that you would easily just kill it anyways. So I think making 26 lings is my point is not necessary.
Yeah, yeah, I see that.
The biggest thing of all is, I would say have more confidence in queens, because if you were making queens throughout the fight more, queens could handle this no problem. Like for what's left,
Yeah.
and then it doesn't cost you larva. Because watch what happens.
And they're also really useful later.
Yeah, exactly. And then they would be useful to like creep spread and stuff afterwards. Because you shut this down. These Hellions would have been annoying a little bit. Your queens, whatever, it doesn't matter. Even if you do make lings in that situation, you could have made so much less as well. Like we're talking like 8.
Yeah.
Just 26 is like, it's like that moment where it's like that panic moment, like, oh fuck, army's still in my base and I got nothing. But you do have something of queens, right? And you gotta like shove them out. It's just an excessive amount of units that were made, and you're even making 8 more right now. So it's like looking at the income tab here, we can see you're still ahead. That's great for you. Great news. You just shut down a timing and you only lost a few drones. You lost 5. That's good. Good news for Zerg. But it just, I don't know. I feel like it could just be so much better. Because your third is
win even harder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just don't ever want to be in a position where if your opponent throws an army away, where you make another army to just sit back and do nothing with it. And I don't think you should attack with this army. I just don't think it should have been made as big as it was. Like for the follow-up.
Yeah.
If you didn't really get a good bane connection though, here's the thing, right? If you did not get a good bane connection, and let's say you like only like kind of hit like the side of some of the Marines, you killed half the Marines instead of all of them, and you killed like half as many Hellbats as you did with the Banes, because he microed really well. I agree with this many lings, because then you'd be like, oh fuck, this is that moment where I could die. I need lings now, I need to hold this shit. But you made the lings after you fucked his army really bad. So just keep that in mind. If you crush the timing and it's just like little remnants are left, you can still make some units to clean it up, but just don't hold down the key until you're out of larva. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But good creep spread. The creep spread is nice.
Creep tumor.
All things considered.
Evolution.
Okay. Now, your third is fully saturated. I love it. You're going back into that mode where you could totally get into this rhythm of making units more and more because you have 3 base saturation. Not knowing if he has a third or not, though, is a big deal, like we talked about, because now you don't know if you should be having a fourth or not.
Yeah, I see.
But I do like your choice here. You're making Banes. You're getting ready to defend this. You should be fine against his timing. We'll see it. He's also parking his units for a second. There he's going. He also only has 1 medevac. That's something big to consider. You should definitely jump on this non-stop. He won't be able to save very much of it. And you crushed it, which is amazing. And now, once again, this is exactly that same moment. I'm about to see what you build, but if you build Zerglings, it is incorrect. If you build... So here's the thing, right? There's 2 ways to decipher this. You need to know if this guy has a third base. If he does have a third base, building drones is the correct option. If this guy does not have a third base, building units or building drones, like if you decide, you know what, no, I'm going to build units now because he doesn't have a third still, and he just attacked me, he just lost an army, I spent some of my units to kill that army, but I'm still feeling a little unsafe because he's not taking a third base. I would actually be okay if you build 1 round of units right now and then go back to droning if there's no third. And right now we can see if we open up everyone's vision, there is no third at the third, but he does have a third CC.
And he's also dropping me.
I know, I see that too. But you still have enough units right now to defend that. It's just you're out of position because he drug you to the other side.
Yeah. I just gotta say though, I really love these kind of games. Like I love just trying to absorb the Terran and drone up be as greedy as possible while defending with Ling Bane. I just love that kind of game.
And so do I, dude. Those are, I think those are probably the most fun ZvT matchups to play. That and I love mech too. You know, mech's pretty good. I like it when they go Hellion Cyclone. It's enjoyable. I'm actually not being sarcastic because I actually really like it.
Swarm
yeah,
forces
me too.
under attack.
I love that you left your queens there. That's great. You're defending multi-prong really well here. You didn't really take any damage, even though you didn't make... Here we go, right? So, a second ago, when the drop was coming into your main, and you did not kill the other drop because you got out with 8 Marines, right? But you killed the rest of what was on the ground on the south side, and you saw a drop in your main. At that point, I would have been like, all right, making units right now, I would not be opposed to it if he doesn't have a natural, or if he doesn't have a third base. If he does have a third base, you know there's no follow-up to this. And like this is what he's got, because he has not invested into mass barracks or factories or whatever. He's invested into economy for that brief moment, and then he'll make more production after that, which means the timings of his real armies will be coming later, because he's gonna have, it'll be a bigger army, but it'll be later. It won't be just like a little bit more now, but there's no follow-up. You know what I mean? That's the difference between an all-in and a command center. It's either... Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, now you're making units again after you just killed both full medevacs of units. Like you literally eliminated the bottom, on the bottom and the top. It's all dead.
Yeah. It's my thought process here is I just made a big round of drones before that, and I don't have any units left, so I would like to have some links to be able to make banes if he attacks me again.
Okay.
And also I don't know that he's got third, as you said.
So
my reaction to that is not scouting his third, it's making more units, and I can totally see the problem with that.
You're not wrong, actually. I'm not gonna lie, you're not wrong. If you don't know if he has a third or not, and you're playing the gambling game, I do think you're taking the safer gamble. I just think that, you know, don't gamble at all if you can help it, and know if he has a third or not.
I totally agree.
But I actually think you're right. You're making these units right now, like you're not. I hope you don't make nothing but units right now. Right now, I would say the best thing to do would be make like a little bit of army, like you just did. Scout for a third. If he doesn't have one, you can make more army after that. But if he does have one, saturate your fourth.
Mm-hmm. One more thing.
Sure.
Just pause it real quick, because I always do this when I play this type of game where I feel like the Terran is trying to multi-prong me. I always build 2 spines in my natural. I mean in my main base. I mean spores. Holy fucking shit! I always build 2 spores.
Yeah.
You do this as well?
When I say the wrong shit, I'm just like, God damn it, fucking, I meant to say Void Race, and I'm saying Zealots and Oracle or...
Yeah. Well, so what do you think about this? Because I know that you hate static D.
I don't mind it.
If you can be more... Well, I mean, if you can be more greedy, but...
I don't mind static D as soon as you get to the stage that you're comfortable to start moving out on the map.
Okay.
If you're going to stay defensive, it's laziness at that point. Like it's, if you're like, okay, well, he's going to attack me, and 100% of my focus is on defending, but I'm still not really confident in that. I feel like that's a bad habit. You're developing laziness when you do that.
Okay.
Because if you're 100% on defense, you should be able to 100% defend yourself from like 2 attacks simultaneously.
Really good way to say it, or at least to me.
Well, it makes sense, right?
Because I totally agree with that statement.
So
because
like,
I actually won maybe like 20 games just doing this, because the Terran is worse or equally bad as me in multitasking. So they always lose their medevacs.
Yeah, I can totally see it, right? But
it kind of feels like cheating feeling. I mean, like not cheating, but like it's a free win that doesn't really extend my gameplay. And
the biggest thing I can say about static defense is, like, as long as you make them when you already have a good saturation, which you actually have right now. I'm not at the biggest. I'm not opposed to it like that much right now, because you have 66 drones, and you're already making 2 drones as you're about to build 2 spores. So it's pretty minor. It's whatever. Like, I'm not really like, oh, this is horrible. Like, it's fine. It's gonna help you deal with annoying shit. But I feel like it would be best, like, if you were talking about the most efficiency you can go for, it would be best if you focused on just getting better at like multi-pronged defense. Like, just a great way to do that is pre-spread your units. Don't have everything in one clump every time. Like, have some army in your main, have some army in your third, and that way if he shows up with 2 armies at the same time, you're already ready for it. And if it's just one big push somewhere, you can just be like, oh no, it's only one push and it's over here. The amount of time it takes for your units to regroup on creep is it's nothing. It's like 3 seconds and you're grouped up again, more or less.
Yeah.
But I do approve 100% of making static D. If you had, like, let's say you had a 4th base, you saturated it, you have 80 drones, and you're like, all right, I'm at like 170 supply. I'm about to start really getting aggressive and moving out, which means my focus is now going to be on aggression, which means now, instead of having my focus 100% on defense, now it's going to be like 80% aggression and 20% like multitasking. So defense is kind of like mixed into that multitasking because you got to go back to your base sometimes to inject, to spread creep, stuff like that. Build tech and things. You're not really going to be like looking at your base like a hawk anymore. Like, okay, where is he coming from? I got to defend it. So you could totally be like, oh shit, my main got dropped and I didn't even realize it. I lost 10 drones, 12 drones, whatever. That could happen then, which is why static D is great then. You just don't want to do things too early that are going to delay your timing. And you're going to learn way more about timing when you get even better at the game. Because there are certain times when you will play somebody and you will go, Jesus Christ, this guy is so hard to stop. Because he is so fucking like on point with his timing. And you'll play someone who does the exact same build that is not nearly as good as him. And you'll be like, wow, this timing was a joke. This guy does not know how to do a timing properly. And it's because of things like, oh, I built static D way too early. Or I did things that are inefficient and it slowed down my timing. The more things you do that slow your actual like... And the timing you're going for here right now is maxing out and going for a big bust. You're like, I'm defensively absorbing you, maxing out, and killing you. So everything you do that it costs resources that's going to delay your max, like building spores at 100 supply, is definitely going to... That is a little hiccup in your staircase to 200 supply. But yeah.
Okay. One more thing, because I just realized my game plan. I am playing against Terran Bio.
Sure.
It's always like my long-term game plan is absorbing the map and getting expansions and spreading my creep and just slowly choking the Terran to death.
Sure.
I love that. I'm like a psychopath. I love choking.
That's exactly what I say on my stream too. I love it too. Let's
yes.
We're psychopaths together.
So in theory, I never really want to attack the Terran. I just want to defend and keep expanding and outgrowing him and just, bleed out something and make him attack me and goad him into
what if you're maxed out and he doesn't attack you?
Well, then I try to threaten his main threaten his main army and just run around with a group of links, making him have to deal with a multi-pronged.
I mostly agree with what you're saying.
Just take a look. We can watch this game because I think I do.
Okay.
I don't really do that. I think I actually attack him at some point. I can't really remember, to be honest.
You definitely want to capitalize on timings, though. If you're the one playing defensive reactionary Zerg, and you do it well, there will be timings where you have the ability to crush something if you have the initiative to do that, which requires a little bit of scouting and base awareness. And you actually, I'm happy that he went to the third where your Ling was, because now you know for sure there's the base going there. But you haven't scouted the other base in a while, so this, for all you know, this could be his fourth, but probably not. But you never know.
Just at this point.
Where's your tech? Okay, so you got Evo Chambers coming, and I think for you, once again, I think you're just how this is going. I think your drone count is good now, but you're finally there. I think there could have been a lot more emphasis on it earlier, because the biggest thing that makes the biggest comfort zone for Zerg is knowing how to read the game, whether it be through scouting your opponent or by reading your opponent's actions and what's happened. Like, for instance, your opponent loses an army, and what do you do after that? Like we talked about already. If you hit optimal saturation faster, you get to that stage where you shift gears entirely and you go into unit pumping stage faster. And your army right now at 10 minutes is comparable to the Terran, which is it's fine. If we're talking equal skilled opponents, this proves that, right? Like your Terran opponent and you are relatively evenly matched because you guys are keeping about the same pace as each other. Yeah. But just throwing it out there, if we would have droned harder here, we would have definitely had a higher army supply here right now by quite a bit. You probably, like, with the damage you sustained earlier, which was not that much, you could honestly, if we're talking about diamond, I'm not gonna try and compare you and be like, oh, you're supposed to be GM right now. diamond level,
Oh,
I'd say you could probably be like 150 supply. Like a good 150, 160. If you just focused a little bit more on your macro.
You think you would be maxed out here? Or?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a fair thing.
Losing only 8 drones throughout the entirety of the game. And you didn't lose drones when you only had like 25 or something like that. You lost drones when you had like 50 or like 48 because you were already fully saturated on 2 bases. That is like the more drones you have when you lose drones, the less of a hiccup it is to your overall build. And you could max out on Ling Bane, Queen, whatever. What unit do you like to complement with this with, like Hydras or Mutas or?
Actually, Corruptors. I know it's
crazy, man.
It's not.
Okay,
Yeah, I know.
We'll just say Ling Bane for now because it's all you have. You could be maxed out by probably 10 minutes. Yeah, you just definitely need. If you're only gonna go Ling Bane though, you definitely need. I would say even like 2 macro hatches. 1 macro hatch is great if we're going Ling Bane if you complement it with like Hydras or something. But if you're gonna go just Ling Bane and get like Corruptors for later on, that will probably become Broodlords or something. 2 macro hatches for sure, because you're never gonna be able to properly spend your money if you make drones at well-timed, like a well-timed pacing type situation. So but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I can also say at this point, usually at this point, because in this game he killed both my evos, right?
Sure.
So usually at this point, I'm not sure if I've finished, but I've at least started the hive and almost finishing 2-2 and starting 3-3 as soon as the hive is done.
I agree.
So that's actually how I usually do that.
Okay.
A more emphasis on the tech and not expanding this much, but because he killed my evos, I took 1 more expansion up 12 o'clock and droned that. So what do you think?
I think your build with the way you do Corruptor, because you just you correct me if I'm wrong. You just said you get Aspire when you start a hive, right? Or no?
No, I didn't say that, but I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought that's what you were doing. Yeah, that mentality where you get Aspire for a hive and you're gonna make Corruptors, then I 100%. If you're gonna do it like that, I 100% agree with that. That's fine because that's like really well-timed Broodlords as well, and you can have Corruptors to deal with Medivacs or Liberators or whatever else is annoying you at that point. But the one thing that this style needs a lot of, that I think you're not going to be doing enough of, because I don't know if you're ready for this style. This is honestly advanced, is counterattacks. You're not doing any counterattacks, and this style only really works if you counterattack.
Yeah.
I highly recommend you don't skip the layer stage. Like, you can still get a corrupt, like a Broodlord Spire type situation eventually, but I think it'd be great if you just made like 16 Hydras and then stop and like just never make them again.
Okay, so 2 things. I maybe I misspoke a little bit, but I feel like I really don't skip the layer stage. I get the 2-2, and my mentality is if I absorb 1 or 2 attacks, I get the Spire, and then I start the hive to transition to 3-3. Get the Corruptors, and then one more thing, the reason I get the Corruptors, it's actually because of the same thing as the Spores. It's kind of laziness, because I know they will target the Medivacs and they won't really get aggroed by the Marines. So I know I can reduce the Medivac count and focus all my attention on microing the Ling Bane, and I usually also have a small group of Lings doing a counter while if I see the attack coming in. So, but this game is a bit different, so I just want to mention it.
Sure.
Really.
I think you're fortunate this game with the style your opponent chose, which is Hellbat Marine, which because Banelings are amazing against that composition. But if you're gonna go, if you do go for like Ling Bane styles against Terrans who use like heavy Widow Mines or tanks, and especially tanks, you're going to have problems where if you don't keep the Terran's economy controlled with counters, you're going to bleed out a lot. Like, it's going to just feel like you like if you ever lose one fight as well, you lose the game because the tank count's going to get out of control and you're just going to never have enough. It's, I don't know, it's, I think this the style you're doing can totally work. It just feels kind of risky. You can you can totally pull it off though. You just need to have some fucking baller macro for it and some good decision making with where you put your units. Because the beautiful thing about it is if you're going nothing but Ling Bane for a long time, you have the ability to be in lots of locations at once. which is why counterattacking with the style is so good.
Yeah.
But I do not recommend you do counterattacks right now. Do not do that. So if you want to play the style, my personal recommendation is you just add in some layer tech support to it, like a Hydra, and then you can still go corrupted later. But if you really don't want to, the best thing you can work on for you right now that I would say is the most important. Counterattacks come later, but for now it would be just properly choosing when to make drones, because you need to overwhelm your opponent every time with this kind of a build.
Yep.
Go ahead.
I also feel like it might be stupid to choose this replay because I feel like I have like 70 to 80% win rates against when I play this Lingbane style against Bio, because I really am comfortable with it.
Sure.
I feel like.
Okay.
So, but I'm not sure if I don't think I win this game. I can't remember. So.
Okay.
But
keep going.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I can see it like a. I used to play Lingbane heavily. And there you go. That's what I was talking about, like Widow Mines, right? Like Widow Mines and tanks are actual problems for this build. It requires way more effort. Like going Hellbat and Marine, it's not hard at all. You're just like, hey, fucking A move and nice army, bye. But like when you got Widow Mines in the picture, and if you don't perfectly split your shit and like set off the Widow Mines and then engage, or if you're playing against tanks and the tanks successfully absorb you as like they push forward, they force you to take a fight. The tanks force you to take a fight. The Terran pulls back as you're engaging with his bio around his tanks. You bleed your whole army out. Suddenly you're just kind of fucked again. You're like, oh god, okay, that fight didn't win. It's really hard to recover if you lose a fight at all ever with this style, because your army, even if you win fights, you're losing a lot of your army because it's baneling heavy. So it requires so much like upkeep with macro. So much larva has to be like flowing through your build constantly to make it work. So it's hard. Yeah, I don't know. It's just fucking difficult, dude. You're picking a difficult way to play ZvT.
Yeah, sure. And I feel like I think I lose this game because of this fight particularly, but I feel like the reason I'm losing actually this game is that I don't have my upgrades in this with this style, so my units is just so much more vulnerable as well.
Sure, I mean that's part of it. But
and I'm bleeding out.
The biggest one of all is you're not overwhelming. The perfect way to like this is how I used to play this style in early Legacy of the Void, and I played it for probably a year. And I would actually go to 90 drones. 90. Yeah. And I would only have 4 gases. And I would have like 10 fucking hatcheries. And I would have 3 hatcheries in my main. And then I would have expansions everywhere. Because if I'm at 90 drones and only 4 gases, I'm mining off of like 6 mineral lines.
Yeah.
And I would just literally crank lings all day. And I would be like, hey, 30 lings, go to his natural. 30 lings, go to his 4th base. 50 lings and 40 banes, crush his army that he's pushing on creep with. And you just literally, you just slam side. He pushes forward, you remax, you slam his army with everything, you overwhelm. If you don't ever, but if you lose one fight and you don't overwhelm and you bleed out, you're fucked, because the amount of larva you need to actually overwhelm is insane with Lingbane. You can't just like pull 100 larvae out of your ass in like 2 seconds, you know? It takes a while to build up to that. So that's why losing fights this is probably the most unforgiving style of Zerg to play. If you lose a fight, like you can't recover.
Yeah.
This game goes on for another 8 minutes though, or 7.5. Yeah. Let's see how you recover.
it's actually gets kind of close, I think.
Okay.
Well,
the one way you'd have a chance is this Terran doesn't expand really then, because if he doesn't maximize his income while he's attacking you, like you can see his third only has 8 minerals or 8 SCVs on it. That's definitely not great.
Yeah, and I think he also stops upgrading at this point.
Yeah, just 1-1. But it definitely does, like if you set off all the AoE, like kill the Widow Mines or whatever, and you have like 3/3 Adrenalings fighting Bio, especially if it's not as well upgraded as yours, there definitely is a lot of power there. I totally can relate to how good it feels to just roll over an army.
But I am sure I'm losing this game.
But yeah, it's just honestly, it's just because, again, There's only so much I feel like I can commentate on this game because the correct way to play it is counters and high eco.
Yeah.
And you're doing the complete opposite of that. You're playing like average eco with defense only.
Yeah. I usually go up to like 86 drones and
That's good.
at least 4 saturated bases. I think.
I will say though, I'm not gonna lie. If you play this way, this is what's gonna happen to you. Have you ever played a game where there's a speed pad and you just hit the speed pad like Mario Kart and it's just like you just boost past like 3 people all at once?
Yeah, sure.
That's what you're doing with your Zerg right now. You're gonna fucking feel like you're behind. You're gonna feel like you're behind, but because you're doing shit that is way above your skill level. But if you actually get to a point, if you stick with it long enough, and you get to a point where you're like, okay, I'm getting pretty good at it, you're just gonna suddenly crush Terrans that are 500 MMR above you, because this build you're doing is like a fucking GM level Zerg build.
Okay.
Like it's like almost even like pro level. This is like 50. It's like 5500 Zerg like style that most Zergs cannot do properly.
Yeah, that's great. Because my mentality actually playing StarCraft is I'm not really focused on winning games. I'm more like focused on improving, like a neuro kind of style.
Yeah. That's totally good. That's a good
mindset. Yeah, but so I usually like to practice stuff that I'm not good at, but how should I say this? Like I want to practice it correctly. So although I use a lot of time actually mastering it, when I finally do, it's the correct way. If you understand me? Like, I think in the long run you will come out on top.
I think when I watch you play, what I've seen so far, when you're trying to take fights, you have the right idea to a point, but you're doing it too fast. Like, let me give you an example.
Yeah, great.
All right, so Terran pushes forward onto your base. You see him coming. Right now, there should be 2 things you should be doing. There's 2 ways to fight this. One is flank, which you're not doing, it's not required, but it's a great way to do it. It's better against like tanks or something, or just pure ground, no Widow Mine. Against Widow Mine, however, there is a bait explosive tactic basically, where you're supposed to run a small force of your army. Like, look at your army right now. It's a shit ton of Banes. It's you have how many you have in production? You have 33 Banes in production. You have currently 4 already out, so you're about to have 37 Banes, which I don't think this is bad ratios here. Don't think that's bad. I like that you're making heavy Banes. But watch how you move out here with your army. You move everything all at once. You should be only moving about, let's say, like 6 Banes, maybe like 7 Banes, and like 8 Zerglings. Like a little, like 1/5 or like 1/6 of this army should be moving out right now. The rest of it can stay close by, like maybe like down the ramp and chill for a second. But you only really want to engage where you know the Widow Mines are with a portion. And the reason why you have to have both Lings and Banes is because Lings get in there quickly, which initially aggro the Widow Mines, which are going to set them off. And Banes follow up the Lings, which allows the Marines not to just stand there and stimp back down the Zerglings to prevent the Widow Mines from going off. So because the Banes will, it's either the Widow Mines are going to kill the Marines or the Banes are going to kill the Marines. One of the two is going to happen. So he has to start kiting and running around. And then with the way you're trying to micro, where you're like splitting your fucking units up and shit, it's a lot easier to do that if you have a lot smaller army. And it's also correct to do that because Widow Mines are going to go off no matter what. And you're avoiding a lot of potential splash that way. But once the Widow Mines have gone off, they can't go off again for like 30 seconds. So it's... Now that's when you're like, all right, roll in with everything. And you continue microing your shit then. And you're going to fucking crush.
I've tried to do this a lot of times. Like, pull just a small group of them in.
Yeah.
But I always feel like my shit gets killed before the Widow Mine goes off.
Just send it a little bit more then. It kind of like depends on how much units your opponent has there as well. You just want to send in enough to make him have to back up. And if he's got 30 Marines, you could totally send in 7 Lings and 7 Banes. If he's got 80 Marines, you could send in probably 15 Lings and 15 Banes. If he's got 120 Marines, you could probably send in like 22 Lings and 22 Banes. Like you're not sending in your whole army. You're just sending in maybe like 1/5 or 1/6 of your army, and then you engage with everything. So you ramp it up as he ramps his up. But yeah, you do not want to fucking send in everything, because look at like one of these little mines. Like I'm gonna put on slower speed here.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
They just fucking annihilate.
But did you see that split though?
Yeah, no, you have like the right, you have the right idea, but you're just doing it in like a really counterproductive way.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's great feedback. It's great feedback.
Yeah.
I don't.
And a
I
great
don't
way.
care that I'm.
And a great way to force Terrans to take fights like this is you just imagine this, okay? Imagine, I'm gonna put your camera right now on everyone's vision for the replay. Imagine if your rally point is at where the ping is right now, okay?
Yeah.
And let's say you do this. You just green box 30 lings and you send them like this. Shift attack.
Yep.
So now your lings are going to check each base, and then they're going to eventually get to the natural, which you know there is a base at. And then you do the same thing. You do another 30 lings. And this is when nothing's happening, right? 30 lings go like this. Shift attack. Because you know he has that third base because your lings saw commensurate floating over it as it died earlier. And you can do these attacks either like when you're maxed out. You can do these attacks when your opponent starts to move out of his base, when if he's walking on your creep. It doesn't have to be a lot of lings. It's just a little bit. These attacks, 100%. I'm not gonna lie to you. They're gonna win you games. Like just because they're gonna kill workers all day.
Well, I usually do this, but this game I'm too far behind, so I don't dare like send any of my army away because I feel like I need them to absorb attacks in this particular game.
I understand your fears.
Yeah, but you
have to do it because if you don't do it, you're playing a losing game.
Yeah. Okay. So you would just rely on your creep spread really to make it slow down his push and also force him to take fights on creep with your reduced army. Yeah.
And a lot of times too,
because
your opponent will turn around to defend timings, especially if you get some decent counterattack damage. And suddenly all it takes is one good counterattack to kill a bunch of workers. And now you're back in the game because now he's fucked. And now you have the advantage.
Yeah, and you don't send any Banes with this, right?
I only would send Banes if the situation arises where it sounds like a good idea. Like for instance, the counterattack on the top lane. You see, let's just say you get to his third base above his natural, and you're chilling there. Your lings haven't been seen yet. They haven't been revealed, and you also haven't committed to his natural yet. And you're like, I know he has a wall there and a bunker. You could make like 8 Banes with like, let's say you have 30 lings there, like 8 of those or 9 or 10 become Banes. And you just want to have the intention of blowing up that fucking wall and then getting on the mineral line in case he would have seen you and raises a depot and suddenly he doesn't take any damage. That could work. That's fine. If you want to do something like that, like an intelligent way to use them, that's okay. But making Banes for like every attack is not necessary because it's too much gas. This build is supposed to be very light on the gas, which is why that's how you have so many lings to do this with. And then, like I was talking about earlier, like how I said I have like 90 drones and only 4 gases running. So you have lings to spare. You should have lings to spare all the time because you have so much mineral-based things happening. Queens injecting hatcheries, macro hatches, bases in general. Larvae just coming at your ass non-stop, basically. And then lings with upgrades can just annihilate a mineral line.
Yeah. And last question about the counters. How many links would you do?
About 30.
About 30? Okay.
Yeah. Like each time you counterattack, send like 30, which is 15 supply.
Yeah. Sounds about right. I think actually I'm a bit on the low side. Usually I send too few and they get cleaned up a bit too easily.
Yeah. If you send like 15 or 20, it's not going to be the greatest. But if you send like 30, it's going to be great. If you send a little more than 30, it'll still be awesome. But the thing about 30 is your intention of doing a counterattack is to wipe out a mineral line. And 30 lings is enough to get in the center of it. The reason why 30 is amazing is because if you look at a mineral line, imagine 30 lings streaming into it. And if you send your lings all the way through it to where like the first ling gets to the last patch and the last ling is crossing the first patch you pass by, your lings are going to be perfectly spread over a mineral line and you're going to wipe out the SCV line in literally 2 seconds.
Yeah, I usually do that.
That's why it's really
good. I
good.
don't look at it at all.
Yeah. It's okay if you don't really look at it. You're just on a move and you're letting it happen. Your lings will ravage a mineral line. Which is the whole point of why you do that. You just want to wipe SCVs out. So like, your goal is not like, oh, I want to send enough lings to make sure I win the game, or I want to send enough lings to make sure I can kill his entire main base production before he gets back. Like, it's unrealistic. Because you're taking a gamble counterattacking anyway, so you don't want to take these gambles that are like, it's like your whole fucking army. Because it's not a counterattack anymore, that's an all-in.
Yeah, sure.
You just want to send enough to where it's not going to really fuck you over if he hits you at the same time, but enough to also do some serious damage if he's out of position, which is literally like 30 lings.
Yeah. By the way, Vent XSR.
Oh, I've been reading what he's saying.
Yeah, he says we should do an 800% replay with no pauses. That's hilarious.
All right. And yeah, right there. Yeah. No, you're gonna listen to me. You're gonna listen to me. Goddamn it! It's a replay analysis.
Shut the fuck up! I'm paying you, dude. You
I thought it was free.
Oh shit! Yeah, it's free. I'm sorry. You do whatever you want, man.
I know. So I was just gonna say, like, you force the fight to happen, which is, you know, it's not ideally what you want to happen, especially if it's off creep. But look at all these like open bases on the bottom side and shit. Like if
but wasn't this supposed to be a counter?
What you just did? You said you lost a lot of units right there. That was your whole army.
But I just didn't pay enough attention against, so I don't know if I saw his army or if I was trying to counter him, but probably I saw his army, I guess.
Your main army, like the one thing that I will say goes well with your playstyle is your main army should never leave your creep. And that's how you like to play, is defensive, and you just expand your creep and absorb. So if your main army never leaves your creep and you only counter, well, what happens with that is you're focusing your attention on creep spreading, and you should be initiating some counters. And if your counters get cleaned up, it's who gives a fuck? It's not that big of a deal. But then if it does something, your opponent will move out and he will walk on creep. And when he does that, that's when you actually take a fight. You should know that if you ever take a fight off creep, especially if you're not even, if there's no reason for it, if it's on his side of the map, just imagine if I was there with like a spatula and I was slapping the back of your hand like, no, the fuck are you doing? Back up.
No touching.
No. You back up on that.
Your head's off. Yes. That's very good. You said something similar in one of our first sessions.
Yeah.
It's really good. I remember that.
Here we go again.
Stupid. Well, I think I saw he did something with his Widow Mines, and I was like, okay, let's time to go. He doesn't have a splash now.
Well, the thing that was amazing for you is he only had one Widow Mine.
Yeah, okay. That's it.
It was just the one.
I just... there was something that tipped me off.
It's fine. It's just like that fight. I'm not really going to get on your ass about that one because he's so close to your hatchery, which is mining. I'm okay with you. If you ever have to take a fight because your creep was killed or for some reason near a base, if your purpose is to defend what's really close to your base, I'm okay with that. But what I didn't like was when you attacked him first, like right there, the first time, when then your army was like, oh shit, run back. Because that initiated him to go, oh, let's counter push now because we just killed a lot of shit.
Yeah, sure. And also, I'm really low on drones this game. I realized this in a little bit of time.
I want you to notice something for me really fast. Look at your gas.
Yes.
This is exactly why I do 4 gas only.
Yeah.
And again, I know what you're gonna say. Don't you fucking say it. You're gonna say corruptors vibe, but I make corruptors, and I like to use them to kill medevacs and make broodlords eventually. And here's what I'm gonna tell you. You can still do that if you make gas when you make the spire.
Yeah.
You can just make gases 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all of them at once, and go, all right, we're switching into corruptors, and you will have enough gas to do that.
It lines pretty well up though, because I usually do the spire like 8 minutes earlier than this.
That's way too early.
Yeah.
If you're going for
You
corruptors that
wouldn't say
fast,
that.
if you're
Well,
going,
maybe not
if you're
8
going
minutes.
for, well, if you're going for corruptors that fast, I'm gonna tell you right now, you're never gonna have enough Bling Bane to stop Terrans that are good at executing timings. You'll never have enough. You'll always be like, Jesus, there's so much shit here, and I have corruptors. I can kill his minimax, but fuck, dude, I'm
Yeah.
dead.
Okay, but my I wouldn't say like I have a timing like a time, but after I absorb the second attack, I make the spire, and that's usually around 8 to 10 minutes.
Yeah. I
Somewhere
still
in
think
that area?
it's too. I think you should max out on Ling Bane before you make a spire. If you again, this style is the reason why I'm telling you this so specifically is because this style is very specific, and if you do it with this like kind of random way to execute it, where you go for like a lot of gas early, you go Ling Bane, and you make this early spire for corruptors, you're gonna struggle against Terrans that actually micro decently and have good timings. It's just gonna feel like you're always gonna have the same problem. You're gonna be like, Vibe, why do I never have enough units?
Yeah.
Like every time I die to these timings. How do you stop timings? Like is Terran fucking broken? And it's because you don't have enough.
Yeah, sure. But I feel like I'm not contradict you. I'm not contradicting you. Sorry, that was a bit weird to say. But I feel like, and this is too again for my level. So I'm kind of playing with a crutch that I'm playing against worse opponents that I'm going to do in the future.
Yeah.
But at my level, people kind of overextend, and then I'm able to kill the drops. I can kill the medivacs, and if they go into creep, expecting just to pull everything up in the medivac and leaving, I can just follow the medivacs with the rest of my Ling Bane and the corruptors, and I kill everything.
Do you use F2 like the select all army hockey?
No.
Okay,
Never.
that's good. So
I'm binded.
Can I give you a suggestion of a way that you could just fix all your problems?
Yeah,
Instead of
sure.
corruptors, this would fix all your problems of dealing with drops. As soon as when you're on 100% defense, I want you to practice getting good at just like multi-prong defense, like literally pre-spread your units, especially if the guy is multi-pronging you. And then as soon as you hit a good saturation, we're talking 70 drones, okay? 70 drones minimum, and you're there. You can. I approve. I give you the thumbs up now to make static D like spores here and there, and literally, and now it's kind of similar. You have two of these, 2 units of lings that you just use, kind of like you use counterattacks with. So like 15 supply. You can put like 1 in your main, and you can put 1 in the base that you think is the most exposed and gonna get attacked. And in the main base, you can literally be like, hey, lings, patrol the side of my fucking base that drops will come from near the spores. And just forget about it. And that 100% will solve all your problems of having medevacs like dropping, even if they're dying to spores, now suddenly the bio drops out of them, and now that bio is still annoying or some shit. Like just having lings around your base will fix so many problems for you. And it's not going to be enough lings to like fuck your supply up super hard. You're like, my point is you're going to, even if you do what I'm saying with these lings, you're going to have an even bigger army with Ling Bane when you attack, just because you're going to max out so much faster. You're going to have so much more supply to work with, and you're going to forego corruptors a little bit earlier because of this, but you're going to roll over your opponent's armies so fucking badly early on that you're going to win so many games just because you just fucking dumpstered their army in the middle of the map when they pushed on a creep, and you're like, wow, my army's still massive after I killed them. It's not like I left this fight winning it with like 10 Banes and 12 Lings. I actually still have like 40 Banes and 60 Lings left over.
Yeah, sure.
And then you're just going to win the game because you're going to counterattack their base then, because you're going to have so much shit, and you're going to kill their third or kill their natural, and they can only take that so many times before they lose. And then once you like max out, then you can be like, all right, let's throw a spire down and let's make more gas.
Yeah.
I feel like that would make way more sense with this build.
Yeah. Okay. I'll try that. I'll try it, and I'll come back to you maybe later with a replay if I have some questions.
Sure. Just keep in mind the biggest things I can tell you about what I've seen so far this game is, I definitely think you need to have a little bit more of an emphasis on droning more when you win fights defensively.
Yeah.
I think that's one of your biggest weaknesses. And that's the biggest weakness I've seen out of both your games, because you basically won the fight already, which you knew that as soon as you saw the Nexus in the first game and you made Ravagers, you already knew you were going to win that fight against the cannons. It just is going to take time, but you delayed the shit out of your drones for a long time. And the other one was this game when you killed his drops, and you literally even killed the medevac sometimes, and you still made army instead of drones. Because you only have to make the drones for so long, right? Until then you're like, oh, I'm good. And now we can just slam out ling, 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 bang, bang, bang all day. And once you get to, if you get to the optimal saturation faster, your army suddenly maxes out and then remaxes out and then remaxes out. And it just keeps being 200, 200, 200. Yeah, that was painful. I saw. I saw.
Yeah. So, again, I think this game's kind of bad actually choosing this for the analysis, because I understand this concept that you're saying from before, and this is not my typical Ling Bane against.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you understand it. That's good though.
Like,
one thing
I'm really happy you're saying it. Like it's not worthless. I'm not trying to say anything of that kind, but it's.
I understand what you mean.
It's really good to enforce it, but
yeah.
I feel like I understand these principles.
If I could give you one more tip as well.
Yeah, sure.
It's as soon as your opponent starts using Widow Mines. Yeah, right? As soon as your opponent starts using Widow Mines, 100% upgrade Overlord speed and start making like 2 Overseers every time you take a fight.
Yeah.
Because I notice you also never have Overseers with your army, and there are times when you could actually have your Banes kill Widow Mines before Widow Mines go off when you're spreading your shit around.
Yes. Again, low eco, so not prioritized. But, it's just me being bad at prioritizing and building the eco in this stress situation. So
yeah,
I see. And just, I actually think I'll kill so many medivacs here. This is the reason I choose to do corruptors at my league, because they get so much value.
Yeah.
Without really needing to be micro at all.
I'm gonna give you a counter argument to that. Because
yes,
you could totally play the style you like to play, where you play standard and you go for gas at normal times and stuff like that. And we're not talking about this like 90 drones 4 gas situation with counters. But if you used Hydralisks, okay? I know it seems like you don't like them.
No, it's
okay. But if you used Hydras and you made like 16 of them, you don't even have to upgrade them in terms of like range weapon upgrades. You just get the upgrades off the Hydra Den, because you want them to be fast and have more range. But the Hydras also would pick medevacs off really hard, and they would also actually pick Widow Mines off really hard.
Yeah.
They would be very useful. And then the idea behind using them is they're still an A move. You're not focus firing them. And I know they're going to kill Marines as a priority over medevacs certain times. But as soon as you overpower one army, all it takes is one overpowered army, and the Terran's going to lose a lot of shit.
Yeah. I think my reason for not making Hydras is when I first started doing this style, I noticed that the Hydras got shredded by siege tanks very easily. So I just kind of tried out Corruptors, because I think I saw Dark do it like last year or something. In the GSL, of course, I realize that's a very different game, as you pointed out many times. Because why is he doing that? Obviously, not for the same reasons as I do, but and I felt like it really worked out great for me, and I've just been stubborn and not changing up my gameplay. So I'll try to incorporate Hydras again, of course.
Yeah, like I don't know. I just like, I'm watching you. But if I watch you do Corruptors, I just feel like it's one of those things where it's like a Band-Aid, and it might fix your problem now, but I see it causing so many problems for you in the future. Yeah, and I'm just trying to. It's like watching a baby walk near a ledge. And I'm like, no, don't fall.
Yeah, but that's the things I'm trying to avoid, really. Too.
Yeah.
I want to practice the correct things, and even though I'll suck at it now, I'll be better later. So, and also I like that the Corruptors transitions well into Broodlords.
Yeah, I think they do too, which is why I love that. I still love the Corruptor, right? I just think that making it really early is it's gonna be difficult for you to deal with better Terrans.
Yeah. Okay, so I know that I've lost this game now. I think.
Yeah, you're definitely dead. It's too much bio. This is the classic problem of Ling Bane, is the amount of larvae you need to be able to combat a lot of armies is high, and even if you get one full inject off, it doesn't suddenly just mean you're gonna win the fight now. You need like 3 rounds of inject to be able to beat this army like convincingly.
Yeah.
So that's like fucking 90 seconds of just time. You're like, hold on, I need a minute and a half to prepare.
Yeah. Could you just wait for a minute?
Just back up, dude.
Yeah.
20-minute no rush.
I'm not ready. No.
All right. Yeah. Just and again, I do think you would have won this game if you just like. I wouldn't be telling you a lot of things that we talked about this game if you had the proper droning. I know you said this is not a standard game for you, but you would have won this game. I could totally see you beating this guy with proper droning, and I can see why you say, "Oh, I have like an 80% win rate with this build," because this dude walked into Bane's fucking hard multiple times.
Yeah. And they all do.
But the one thing that I see constantly happening for you that I think is just something that you don't realize yet because you haven't been able to see it from a different perspective because you're not there yet, would be every time I watched you fight, your supply was always below what it should have been.
Yeah, I know.
So, and also the way you were taking fights with your units like full on against Widow Mines every time was cleaning up those things in your average everyday game would be like you're just gonna fucking literally roll over every opponent you play. You'll make them feel really like you just make them feel uncomfortable with like maybe 1 or 2 counterattacks here and there. They take a fight that sucks ass for them. They're just getting impatient. They're like, oh my god, I'm taking damage. I gotta go. They get rolled over on creep. Game's over, and you just literally roll every opponent this way again and again and again.
Yeah. I would really, I really want to show you another ZvT now, but we've been going for 2.5 hours, so it's fine. You should also play some billions because
how about
maybe
this?
someone will do a bet and you can just weasel out of it.
How
like
about
you
this?
Usually do.
You no, I don't think so. You load up the replay right now, and I will go through it really fast. I won't pause. I'm just gonna fucking go through it on ×4 and give you a quick rundown on it.
Yeah. Yeah, but no, we shouldn't because I have to go into the Europe scene.
Oh, so it's not me, it's really you,
server.
and you're just trying to blame it on me.
Okay. So just hang on. I'm switching servers.
That's what I fucking thought.
Yeah.
No, you have to wait. Your replay's on Europe. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yes.
All right. What you gotta do is you just gotta go to your documents folder and drag that shit over to your American folder.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know which one because I played a lot of.
All right. Are you fucking with me right now?
No, I'm actually not. Because I didn't rename it. That's
Call's
my
over.
point.
I'm out of here.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I told you. I can see
5
that you're
minutes.
still in the call, by the way. Okay. It's okay. 5 minutes, I'll manage.
Refreshing water. All right. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being like you're mind blown right now. How much do you think you've learned so far this session?
I would say maybe 5 or 6.
Oh fuck.
No, that's really good actually, because I have really high standards for that. So very short.
You're telling me an F is good?
No, it's not an F. Isn't 5? Isn't that like an C in
fail.
American system?
What the fuck? C? No, it's
5 out of 10. That's halfway there, right?
5 out of 10 is a absolute fail. 60 to 70 is a D. 70 to 80 is a C.
Oh, okay. So you need. Oh, yeah. Okay, I understand that you have to just to be able to reach the second worst thing. You need to be at 60%, right? In your system.
Yeah. So I got a D.
Okay, that's not. Yeah, that's not. I meant like a C. Yeah. In Norway, it's not like that.
You hurt me bad.
To 6.
You hurt me bad, Muffin.
It's oh shit.
I'm just kidding.
No, it's not you. It's me. Okay, so I'm just watching a replay right now. But yeah, dude, I had to say that the game, the Billions game that we had a bet on, that shit was really entertaining, dude.
Yeah, no, I thought it was really
Like,
funny.
yeah, with the wet noodles. Holy shit.
Was-
Did you beat that map, by the way?
No, I haven't played it again since. I'm scarred.
Okay, okay. Yeah.
I was gonna play it today, but
So scarred.
I don't even know what
Yeah,
time
okay,
it
I
is in
found the
Australia.
replay, by the way.
I think it's probably like 7 p.m. already, though. I probably won't play it for very long.
I understand. Okay, I found the replay. Let's see. Just do this.
Noodle boys. Also, chat. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm sorry I'm neglecting you guys so much. But I hope you guys are enjoying the replay analysis with me and Mr. MuffinMeistro. And I'm gonna do a quick last one. It's not gonna. This one's not gonna be like an hour long. It's just gonna be. I'm probably gonna just speed through it really fast, like 5 minutes, and just like really quickly look at some glaring flaws that I might see could be improved in some way.
Okay, can't log in now for some reason. Blizzard.
You're all good, dude. I'm chill. I'm easy going. I'm easy. And I'm probably gonna shit on that mission as well today on Billions because I have 800 points to spend. Because
You want to make a bet?
what's the bet?
What's the bet?
Yeah. What's the bet?
The bet is, if you don't shit on the mission today, you have to say that you actually lost the first bet without any asterisks. You actually did lose the bet. And you owe me one free replay analysis.
Negative.
Yeah.
I actually don't know if I'm gonna beat that mission because I don't know what I want to get. I don't have a solid plan in mind. But we all knew the bet was supposed to be if I can get 500 soldiers out before I'm dead, and I only had 2 chances to do it.
And you had to win the mission.
That's not true.
Yeah. Well, I did type that. And
That's just a fool's bet because 500 soldiers is fucking insane for that
Yes.
game, and they didn't do anything. I was like, okay, we're dead.
Yeah, I understand. But to be honest, I actually thought that you were going to win that. And I think you did too, because you had so many soldiers. But
I thought I was going to win too, honestly. I thought it was fine.
Yeah, they just crashed. I was like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, I was waiting for my soldiers to just like smash every wall, and I was going to be like, this is easy.
Yeah.
But then every wall broke,
Yeah,
and I was like, okay, well, none of them are even dying. Soldiers, what the fuck are you doing?
I just invited you to the party.
Alright. It was bad.
Okay, and okay, what was this one? I think, yeah. Okay, this is.
Okay, we'll go through this
Okay,
really fast.
Yeah, I just realized. Maybe I'm not sure. I don't think I do any multi-prongs here.
Oh no, it's fine. It's just something you should do with this style.
Yeah, but this game, I really felt like everything clicked like it usually does.
Sure. Well, you're snoot, as I can see. So.
Yeah, sure. It's Jens is my boy.
All right, let's see this. Let's see this from your perspective. All right, let's go. This replay is 14 minutes. We're gonna watch it on ×4.
Yeah.
Okay. So
does this happen to you anytime? Like when you start the game, you can only like ping shit on, and you can't click anything.
Yes, it's because your alt key is locked. It's because you alt tab during the load, and sometimes it locks the keyboard on alt. It's annoying. So all you gotta do is you gotta alt tab and alt tab back again, and you'll be fine.
Yeah. I do that, but I also pause before I do it. But I can't type anything, so
yeah.
Sometimes people get mad.
And then when it happens to you at a tournament, and then you're like, I can't fucking do anything, and you just like leave the game. That's when you have to be like, my computer crashed. Because if you tell them that your keyboard got locked up, they'll be like, you fucking cheater. You just want to see fucking, you know, like what build over he was doing. You're like, I don't know, my keyboard.
Yeah. Luckily, I'm not at that stage.
Okay, so or there is a national, it's just in the high ground. This is already good for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would love to see you start mining gas again with these drones that are being made right now. Let's see if you do. You don't, or yes you do. Just kidding. Okay, good job. You make a Bane nest. This style's looking better than your last one. If you want to go Ling Bane, I approve of this build more. Because you have a Bane nest well timed. The only difference is I would say you should make a layer first and then a Bane nest, because now you have a Bane nest for no reason, for a little too early. It's like too safe. But yeah. Nice job, by the way, spreading your lings around. It looks like you're preparing for a 2-on-1, but you don't fully know if it is a 2-on-1. You're assuming, which it's fine. I don't mind your scouting. You know for sure it's not a 2-on-1 now. I like you have his third scouted, and you know you're reacting to that. You're like, all right, no third, motherfucker. I do not like your third saturation though. You can see you're still winning in the worker count, 53 to 37. You're crushing, but look at your supply. You're actually behind, and it's because this dude is actually doing a high supply 2-base timing. This is what you're gonna fight a lot of Terrans who play it like that. The higher you go, this guy's build is a bit awkward. It's very all in. It's not the best, but his supply is high enough though to be scary. If you're
and here you can see the upgrades, by the way. Yeah. So I usually line up. I usually line up 1-1 and Bane speed, so they finish at the same time. That usually it's done when they push just like this. This is like I would say 90% of these types of games. This happen.
I just want to throw this out there too. I like it, but here's one thing that's not as good as what it used to be. A tank used to only do 35 damage, but they buffed it, and now it does 40. Which means that 1-1 used to be really good against timings like this, because your lings used to be able to absorb a tank shot, which meant they had to shoot, the tanks would shoot a ling again a second time, which is fucking huge. Because it's like Banes, right? It's like the tanks shoot really slow and they do high ass damage. But now it doesn't matter how many armor upgrades you have, your Zerglings will always get one shot by a tank. Which sucks ass.
Including splash?
Well, if they're directly next to it, sure. But if it's like a bit out, no. The armor's not going to really make the big of a difference, is my point. It's either going to take 2 hits from far splash, or it's always going to be 1 hit if it's directly targeted. The tanks fucking wreck Ling Bane now. So honestly, I think you would actually be, like, it sounds great being like, I have good upgrades. But against tanks, you would actually be better off if you just made like extra lings from another hatchery with these same resources and more Banes. And you just had a bigger army.
And you would just go +1 melee and...
I would probably make my Evo chambers around the time when I start Baneling speed. And then get 1-1 then. With this specific style you like to do, where you're going lots of Ling Bane.
Yep.
Going 1-1 really early, it's good against bio, but it's shitty against tanks. So if a Terran ever goes tank, you're already at a disadvantage because you have a smaller army because of the Evos.
I see.
You would have won that fight, like, hard if you just had more. Like, you almost won it as it was, but I'm not gonna lie, the 1-1 didn't really do a whole lot for you right there. Because his army was so tank heavy.
Yeah, my 2-2 is almost halfway, or over halfway now, of course. And you see, I started the Spire, right? Yeah. And I didn't make the layer there, I made the layer, so that's a bit delayed.
Yeah, you look like you should crush this game, by the way, because your economy is just, like, this guy's all in as fuck. Like, he literally has been at, like, 30 SCVs forever.
Yeah.
And you haven't even, like, killed any. He just doesn't make workers. So this is awful for Terran. It means that your supply should start getting crazy good. And now you win.
Yeah, so this is what always happens. I get my Corruptors out, I start winning the fight on the... ground, and they try to pick up and go away, and I just kill everything.
Yeah, You're being conditioned though. Again, I'm gonna say it one more time. The whole you don't want to just have bad habits carry over to later on, because the Terrans you're playing right now are Terrans that are like, fuck SCVs after like 4 minutes in the game. Who wants that shit anymore? Not me.
Yeah.
I want army only.
Yeah.
So
you can see I have a small counterattack in the 12 club. It's too few.
That's definitely too few.
realize.
It's only 6.
Yeah, but that's usually what I do. I just send
6 is
small
down,
amount into the mineral line because people can't really multitask, so they don't pull the drones. Or
Yeah.
SCVs.
Yeah,
Enough.
I think an alteration to your build that will help a lot is a little bit more delayed upgrades. Like, again, start upgrades when you start Bane speed, which will, and also make a macro hatch as soon as you saturate your third. Like, as soon as you start saturating your third, start a macro hatch. And then as soon as your third is fully saturated, make a second macro hatch. And then make a fourth base as well. Like, you need to be kind of hatchery crazy with this style. And if you do this successfully, you're going to be like, wow. Every time I fight like, you can look at a replay and be like, wow, I fought my opponent and he's at 108 supply and I'm at 150. I'm at 140. Yeah. Not my opponent's at 108 supply and I'm at 103. You know? And those upgrades are nice, but they're fucking you over really bad because you're going so gas crazy. And here's how your gas should go. And you can do your corruptor style for now if you really want to, but this is how your gas should be. 1 gas, mine it, get speed, stop mining gas altogether. Okay, then as soon as your natural is fully saturated or close to it, like we're talking like 15 drones or something, put drones back on that first gas. And then keep making like lings and drones as you see accordingly, like for the early game based on what you're fighting, Hellions or Marines or whatever. Take gas number 2 as soon as you start saturating your third, or as soon as your natural is fully saturated and you're like gonna make a couple more drones to fill it up. So you don't want to lose 16 out of 16 on either your main or your natural is what I'm saying, but you can start your natural or your second gas at that time as well. And then as soon as your third is fully saturated, you can make 2 more gases that you can make more drones with it. And you'll stay on 4 gases for now, okay? Just stay on 4 gases and you make all these hatcheries and stuff. And then you'll be able to afford your Banes. You'll be able to afford Bane speed. 1-1. You'll start, and then as soon as you start your Spire, or if you want to do that, as soon as you start the Spire, take gases 5 and 6. And then just stay on 6 gases. Don't go to gases 7 and 8 or anything like that. Just stay on 6 gases and make your like 8 corruptors or whatever you like to make, and then make your Ling Bane. And you need to make excessively lots of Lings. Shitloads of Lings is the goal here. And you should be taking your 4th base at a good time, a 5th base, 6th base. Like, you need to expand kind of quickly with this style. Because if you want to be, honestly, around, like, you're going to notice in your own games, you're like, oh, I want to be around like 80 drones plus. And if I'm not taking all my gases, I'm just sitting here on like 24 out of fucking 16 drones on my mineral line. This sucks. It's because you didn't expand fast enough, if that happens. So you're definitely going to need to realize you expand fast with that style. And then, yeah, just creep spreading like you do. Just work on your creep spread and make sure you're always taking fights on creep. And it'll help a lot.
Yep. Great.
Yeah. Any questions?
No, I almost fell asleep there, so...
Oh, shit, dude.
Just kidding.
I'm glad I could make you tired.
I'm just happy it's free, dude. Like, I'm not paying for this shit.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah.
All right, man. I'll let you go so you can
see that. Yeah.
Or what?
I can see that chat. It's actually agreeing with me now. The consensus in chat is that you lost a bet.
Okay.
So you can do whatever you want. You can just name your price for this, but I would say remember your audience. And yeah, good luck, man.
Hell yeah. The guy, see, Toxicator says, you're charging? Fuck yeah, I'm always charging. I ain't free. No,
it's fine.
It's your call. Your discretion. I trust your judgment.
No. Don't push this over on me, dude.
I just gotta do the outro. No.
So you have to
I didn't lose a goddamn bet.
You did fucking lose the bet. But that's fine. I concede that you cannot accept the reality of this. And I also can, in fact, sympathize with you playing the game and reading the chat at the same time.
That's actually
That's
really
fine.
hard.
Yeah, I know, because I've used to stream a little bit for like 2 years, so and that was hard enough. So I know. But so you need to name your price, dude. You lost the bet, but
You don't want me to name my price. I always go high.
yeah, I know. Ah, it's fine. I'm just joking. I'll figure it out.
I would have quoted something in 4 digits.
Yeah, for 2.5 hours.
And you could just be like,
supposedly free.
You could be like, oh, okay, 1010.00.
I can weasel out of it somehow.
Yeah, there you go, just like the bet. Bye.
Yeah, just hey, you said it yourself. Just like the bet.
Yeah, it wasn't me. I'm not the weasel.
That's true. Okay, dude. Have a great day, dude.
All right, thanks for
And thank you so much for this analysis. It was great.
Yeah, no, thanks for doing another one. It's always fun coaching you, dude. And I hope it all works out and you you know, next time we talk about it, you're like, oh, masters, or I'm like 4.8 or some shit. You can do it, dude. I believe in you. You're gonna go up.
I truly believe I could do it, but I'm not playing enough. Really, it's more a question of that, because I've been really competitive before, like in other things, and I've always done well because I'm really practice oriented and really I love just getting better. That's why I do this. But
Yeah.
I realize that I don't practice enough to actually become as good as I want in this game. But
I
don't
know
have
how you
the
feel,
time,
because
so it's fine.
that's how I am too. I don't put enough time in either to be a god of StarCraft.
No, sure, but you have done before, so you have the
Yeah, I still have the
basics,
knowledge.
or-
I just don't have the fingers for it anymore in the execution.
Yeah, sure.
Damn it, I'm old. All right, man. It was fun.
Dude, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you as well. And I will see you on the stream. And just next time, I'm sure we'll do another one at some point. So I'll see you then as well.
Yeah,
And until
great.
then, have a great one, man.
Yeah, you too. Bye.
Later, dude.
Later.
Bye. Oh, you left. All right.